Yes, yes, we are now live. This is Disco of Rasco and Disco Beer Review with me live from what I'm calling my home bar of the Disco Arms. You might be wondering why on earth it's me up front today, but unfortunately Rasco is detained at work, so he may or may not be joining us later if he can, I don't know. So I've lined up a very special guest this evening. And he's already in. Yo, Brandon. And here he is. Let's go straight in, no messing about whilst we got the connection. It's Jimmy Fondue, Jimmy Fondue, Jimmy Fondue, Jimmy Fondue. Waiting for connection. Here we go. It's normally Rasco's song, waiting for disco, but it's waiting for Jimmy Fondue, Jimmy Fondue, Jimmy Fondue. Well, anyway, whilst we wait for James to join us, I probably should have done the introductions, really. Yeah, because we've got no Rasco. I've asked Jim the CameraMan to join us, who is not turning up somehow. Oh dear, that's not great. How's that gone? Let's see. It's all very experimental. So we do know what we're doing. We're just waiting for the technology at work. So yeah, no Rasco. So Jim the CameraMan, who's very much the... Yay, there he is. Jamesy. Shemai, Shemai, Shemai.
Hello. Right.
It's very good to see you. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I can hear you just about.
I can. I'm just making sure I got my brightness sorted out. That's my phone brightness, not my brightness.
Good. So, although I did see you on a live stream last week elsewhere, we haven't seen each other for years. We got a bit of a beard off going on here, sir. We're looking mighty fine on the furniture there. Fortunately, yours is much less grey than mine, so
I've got good lighting. Plenty of grey in mine.
How the devil are you, sir? Anyway,
I'm gonna tell you about this. Well, I'm not actually going to tell you much about this. I just happen to have it next to me. Claire, as my good wife, as opposed to the terrible wives, bought me this for my birthday, which I haven't actually told her. It's not got any battery power at the moment. But this is a heated beard straightening brush.
Behave yourself. Get off my stream immediately.
Because the man who has everything. We've got a beard straightening comb. It heats up to 200 degrees.
Next you'll be telling me you use beard oil and all that kind of malarkey.
Definitely beard oil. Bit of argan oil. Splash.
Anyway, regardless, it's very good to see you, sir. Very good to see you.
You too.
So no, thank you for popping along. It's good to catch up. Obviously, I don't know what Rasco is up to. He's working late, so I thought let's have... Well, we always say the other person very much behind the scenes of Rasco and Disco. You're always very enthusiastic with what we do and helped us to kind of set it up in the first place, I think. I always have this idea that you and Rasco talked about it a few years ago and you said just go for it, and he pointed the camera in my face and we did it.
That's more or less what happened, I think, yeah. But, it's not my fault. Don't blame me.
Yeah, so because I'm in charge tonight, if there's anybody there in the comments, I just wave into everybody in the comments. Normally we sort of read them out, but I might miss a few tonight. And thank you to everybody for joining in and joining the chat. Please bung your comments in and waving to everybody. So where do we start, James? Where do we start?
I think I know where we start. First of all, we start in, hey, J. Philsell. I think that's my friend Jules. Hello, Jules.
Hey.
Sorry. It's clever, this, isn't it? You can see I've not done one of these Insta live streams before. This is clever. Anyway.
Wow. Cherry. I'm very, very honoured to be taking your cherry like
that. Well, first time for everything and all that. Speechless. Well, I'm sure we'll get on to telling my story of coming from East London and Walthamstow up here. But the first thing first, I haven't got a beer in my hand yet.
We've just seen I finished one, so crack one open, sir. I'm going to start on, for the session.
I wanted to start off with Wildcard from my Walthamstow roots. I got a case for my birthday recently, and loads of people.
It was indeed. Happy birthday, sir! Big numbers as well.
Thank much. Yes. Let's not dwell on that. Lots of people each brought me a case of beer, so I am not short of beer at the moment. But on the wildcard front, I've been trying to decide which to start with for today. I've got all of these. So we have the Proving Ground, which is mango, apricot, and passion fruit sour.
Tidy.
We have the Full Scods Tropical Stout.
Right.
Which I might come on to a bit later. That's a bit much to start off with. We're the Lucid Dreams NEPA. And we have the Blackcurrant Gosa.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I think that might be a bit much to start off with. It might spoil the rest of my palate for the rest of the evening.
So I saw briefly on I think it was Thursday. Jägerweiss from Wildcard was on a live stream with Craft Beer Pin-Up Kimberly. I didn't catch all of it. I've got to go back and check it out. They were drinking the pineapple one there, the pineapple sour you had there. So lots of choice. What are you going to go for?
Tom Trumps is my friend Tom. Tom and Tom. I didn't realise that was Tom. Oh.
Yeah, so something before basically just said Instagram lets people know that you're on, and they've all popped on to say hello. So anybody who's popped in, thank you very much for joining. A little bit of a beer chat between me and our mate Jim. He's got lots of names, but we'll stick with Jim for now.
Why not?
Jim or James, either way.
I think I'm going to start with the Lucid Dreams NEPA.
Plan? Good plan.
So this, I'm going to tell you, this. Here's the thing about Wildcard. I don't know if you noticed. They do fill their cans very full. Have you noticed this? Always.
I don't think I've had enough Wildcard, despite it being a London brewery and me based in London. I've struggled to get round all the London breweries in lockdown. I did, however, on Thursday wander up my local bottle shop, Beer Asylum over in Pinner, because I was fairly certain they stocked them. Unfortunately, it was a little bit out of stock, and they only had a table beer, which I should have got, but I didn't really fancy, and they had the Waimea. Waimea, that's it, yeah. So I didn't actually pick any up. But again, Wildcard is another one I've got to check out. I just noticed Wild Horse in the house. Thank you for popping in. We'll be getting onto your biz later. I'm actually going to start with another favourite, I guess, of yours, being Walthamstow. I went with Signature Brew. I picked this up from Beer Asylum the other day. Probably another one to start. I don't know. It's a coffee pale ale. I don't know whether you've had this one, James.
I haven't. Shine. It must be one of the relatively new ones. I see Peaky Blenders. Peaky Blenders is one of the Walthamstow coffee shop chains. So local collaboration.
Artisanal
coffee shop people. So I bet
that very, very pale for coffee.
Yeah, you would have thought coffee stout normally, but there we are.
Looks different on the camera. Looks interesting though. It's not
so I don't get a lamp or anything. Are you okay?
What's that, sorry?
How's the lighting in here? Should I get a lamp or anything? Or?
No, your lightings look good. We can see you. We can see the beer pretty well. So, you're pretty good so far.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Get your nose around that. What?
Aroma is always a funny one for me. My nose is not great for aroma because of various allergies and stuff. It's bunged up at the best of times, but...
Be surprised given the size of it. Was it?
Oh, we're getting in the banter early, are we, son? It's lucky I've known you, what, 25 years? 20 years? 25 years, sir.
How old are we? Yeah.
Well, considerably less old than me, but it's still 25 years, I believe, give or take. I'm not that good at maths, but yes, roughly 25, if it's a day. Is it? We've had a fun 25 years, mostly because of the beer, I may say so, but it's been a lot of fun.
You taught me to swim.
So legend has it, yeah, I taught you to swim. You claim you taught me to drink. I'm not quite sure about this, but
I thought you
it's a fair trade-off.
I thought you had to talk to girls.
Oh, that was yeah. Look how well that went.
Yeah.
It actually go very well, especially.
This is what? Got a good nose on it, plenty of fruit. I don't want to get too sucked into, and obviously I'm a white middle-aged bearded man on a beer podcast type thing, but I don't want to get too sucked into being a total beer nerd.
No, to be fair to you, James, that's really not quite what we do on Rascal and Disco on a Saturday night. We'll mention a beer that we've drunk. We'll have a little like tasting note, and then we generally move on to the chat. It's all about like having a beer in a pub, like if we was meeting in London at the pub, like we used to do and stuff like that. So we mentioned a bit. This is kind of strange because it's. I say that though. This is quite pale and quite fruity, and I wasn't really expecting it. It's not massive on the coffee. It may be because I'm not palate cleansed between the last Citra and Galaxy heavy beer that I had. But love Signature Brew. You must have visited Signature Brew quite a few times, as much as you did at Wildcard, when you was living over in Walthamstow.
Everything Signature do is fantastic, and yeah, and they're cool folks. Although, and I shouldn't say although, and they've got a pilot kit, a 160 litre, a 1 barrel pilot kit from SS Brewster, which I would love. It's about 16 grand to buy, but it's a whole brewery about the size of my sofa. It's fantastic, lovely bit of kit, and so they've been using that to experiment with small batches and new flavors rather than having the whole. Because it's a big site when you go over there. Wildcard is a special place in my heart because that was my first brewery in Walthamstow, my first spot. And I did the beer brewer for a day experience that people do. Claire got me for my birthday years back, and that's when they were still brewing at the Ravenwood site. And Jager did my day, and we had the day up there. And yeah, it was fantastic. At that point they were putting out 12,500 bottles a week. And then about 2 weeks later, they got a couple of new massive fermentation vessels and doubled their output.
Wow!
And then they moved over to the Lockwood site for their brewing. They started off brewing in a I think before they were officially called Wildcard. They started off brewing in the basement of a pub in Walthamstow called Warrant Officer, where we nearly bought a house next door. We're first looking at living in Walthamstow. I went to the pub and it was fine. The local WI, the Walthamstow WI, used to meet there, and they got a great branch name. You know what they were called?
What? No, go on.
The Stowe Roses. Love it. But as the wheels of fortune have turned, and Wildcard have got bigger and bigger, they've just bought the pub back. Yeah, and they renamed it the Tavern on the Hill, which was its original name way back when.
Okay.
So a couple hundred years. So yeah, Tavern on the Hill. It's a great little pub. I haven't been there, obviously, but I haven't been there in its current management. It's old management. It was sort of home to our dad club, which was good. Dad support group we had.
Sounds like a good place for a dad support group to meet in a pub.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've bought that, and they're bringing that back to its former glories. So excited about checking that out when everything's back to normal, and I come back to visit London sometime.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is like this time last year. certainly me and Rasco were talking about meeting up with you and doing the wonders of what was becoming the Walthamstow Beer Mile and everything around the area, and it would take a few days to do it anyway, but it just, we never quite got round to like making that leap, and then everything went tits up.
Yeah. Oh,
so when it all comes, hopefully, we know where we're going to go, and obviously Wildcard is still going and doing well over there, so it's a place to look out for.
Oh, great breweries over there. Yeah.
Tom Trump says we are booked in. I presumably that means to Wildcard's new emporium.
Yeah.
Talking of which new places, I saw the other week, I don't know if you saw it, I retweeted it, that Signature Brew opening a new place over my way in Wembley.
I did that.
In Wembley.
Finally, somewhere decent in Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the ideal part of Wembley. It's up the high street end, it's an odd location. It's kind of around the back of the high street on the road that goes down to Alperton. So it's a little bit out the way, but it's not too bad. I can get a bus up there rather than getting like the trains over the other side of town by the stadium. But I said welcome along. Getting that sort of bar into the HA postcodes is good for me, because my bit of northwest London, not really a lot over there.
It's a bit of a beer desert, Harrow, these days.
A little bit, yeah. Like I always say about Hop and Vine and Beer Asylum. Being a little oasis in a bit of a beer desert in northwest London. So, I mean, it is an HA postcode. It's HA0. So getting another bar in a Harrow area is good for me. Rather than I have been to Signature Rooms. Signature Room have got 2 tap rooms, haven't they? They got one in. They got a Kodak. I'm sure I've been to the one in Shoreditch.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember the name of it, but yep.
Yeah, I think I've been to one of them, but I haven't got over to the Wolf. I've been to the Collab. Obviously, you had a burger in there before a gig. So we very nearly got to Walthamstow and all that, and then you up to left.
Well, yeah. Fortune and the wind brought me up here. I'll tell you one good thing about being here.
Yeah, go on.
I don't need to keep my beer in a fridge. This house does not get warm enough to worry about needing to put beer in the fridge. I have got some beer in the fridge just to make extra cold, but yeah, this wasn't in the fridge and it's perfectly cold enough. It made it up to...
I know what you mean, because I have a beer. My beer stash is a cupboard under the stairs, and because it's like an outside wall, the whole of the winter it doesn't get warm in there at all.
No.
I have to watch out in the summer, but again, this is the first year I've had that big a beer stash to watch out for. But yeah, an outside wall. But yeah, it's a little bit colder up where you are, isn't it?
We had the other day. I've got a thermometer in the bathroom, which is generally the warmest room of the house because it's got the immersion boiler in there. I had a thermometer that was in direct sunlight the other morning, and it made it up to something like 15.6 degrees, which is pretty much a record for this. So I've currently got like 3 jumpers on. So it's
Before we get on to Wales, we're just going to have a little chat about various stuff. Rasco likes to do a little news segment early doors, like to get out of the way before we get onto the chat. And obviously, he wants us to make a few points. First of all, I don't know if you saw during the week about a lot of breweries pouring their excess beers down the drain on Wednesday with the hashtag Brewers Down the Drain, which was, I wouldn't say heartbreaking, but it was a little bit annoying to see where good beer go to waste.
Well, it is heartbreaking. You see those images.
Yeah,
it's people work hard to make that.
Yeah, and not to mention, of course,
because they've got no support from the bastard government.
Exactly.
No, breweries pouring away beer you just can't. Hard to think of anything worse.
Bizarre,
I spent 15 years as a Middle East journalist with various sort of wars and famines and stuff. So it's not quite in the same league, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And having just mentioned Rasco, here he is. He's popped into the chat. Welcome along, sir. I don't know if he's managed to get out of work and got home or what, but good to see you, Rasco.
No, I mean, there's so many failures on that front.
Yeah.
And you might have been doing more research on this than I have during the week. But the failure of the government to support small businesses, other than occasional one-off grants. The furlough scheme has been great, yeah, but that's not helped, shift production along.
Yeah, I mean, I try to avoid talking about politics on here, and so does Rasco to an extent, but he does like to do the news, but you're probably more immersed in the politics of the situation than me. I kind of take a sidestep with that and just focus on the beer. So that sort of brings us on to vaccine passports in pubs. That news this week has just sort of hit everybody, and I've tried to just avoid it, but I'm sure you have a few thoughts on that too.
I've got thoughts. If you want to hear my thoughts, or if you want to hear your thoughts first, I don't know. You might want to disagree with me, but really, when you're looking at vaccine passports in pubs, you think, is this common sense or is it a terrible idea, right? Because at first thoughts, right? It might seem like common sense, right? And well, really, okay. There's two elements to it, right? First of all, is it a good idea? And secondly, who should be responsible for enforcing the rules? Okay.
Yeah.
So on the face of it, yeah, common sense, right? We all want pubs to be safe places we can relax in, like before the pandemic. We all want to go to the pub, and everyone's there and everyone's safe and everyone's had their jab, and clink clink, cheers, back to normal. Great. All right, so why not? So first of all, why not? The first of my points on this is that we're not all going to have the jab by the time pubs open, right?
No.
My mum's had both of her jabs, but bless her, she's not going to keep the pub industry afloat by herself, and that'd be right kicking her nuts, right? If pubs finally open and you and me can't go in them, I'm not talking about people who are choosing not to have the vaccine, right? That's something else entirely that maybe we'll come on to in a bit. But at the speed they're going, which is impressive, right? The vaccine rollout's good, right? But they're still not going to get through everyone by the time pubs open, right?
Yeah.
So that means we're going to need a two-tier system, right? So we're going to have vaccine passports for pubs who are back to normal. Back to normal for those who have been vaccinated. You've got vaccine passport pubs, and then you're going to have pubs that were open like in last summer. They have social distancing, and the rule of six, and plastic guards up everywhere. And that'll be for the rest of us. I'm getting vaccine as soon as I can. Right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not holding my breath or anything, because literally the only people dependent on me being economically active in the community are barmen. That's the only gift I bring to anyone. Right? But it's not just me and you and other young punters in their prime. Bar staff, right? Most bar staffs are in their 20s, right? They're not going to have jab yet, unless they're vaccinated under a special program, and I've got no problem with that. Right? I think it's high time got recognised as being crucial, essential workers for the good they do in our world.
Well, yeah, exactly, and it's because, like you say, enforcing it, and you kind of exactly. How can you have customers in the shop or in the bar or whatever that have got passports, but you have got bar staff who haven't? So surely they should.
What's the name for them? They'll get laid off. You're gonna have pubs only have to recruit over 50s. Pubs only have to recruit over 50s to work behind the bar on 6-month contracts. An army of retirees coming back to man the trenches on the front lines and pubs across the land.
Well, that's why my thoughts on it are twofold. First of all, at the moment, when I'm hearing people about, you're saying not so much now, but like last year, you were saying about people wearing masks, but you weren't allowed to challenge people who weren't wearing a mask in case they were legally they didn't have to wear a mask, but you weren't allowed to challenge people who didn't have a mask. So how can you challenge people who haven't had a jab or therefore haven't got a passport? You can't. Is it not the same thing? You can't challenge people. So why can you challenge people and say they can't come in a pub if they haven't had a jab or they haven't got a mask? It's sort of little bit of double kind of.
And this concept, and you're right. And enforcement is, and no, I guess we'll come on. I'll come on to enforcement mode because I've got my thoughts on that too, right? But
Tom said James's mum can work behind the bar. To be fair, she could. She could run a very tight bar and wouldn't have no messing about.
Yeah.
I would happily go in any bar that your mum ran.
Should have people putting their hands up to get served, isn't it?
Yeah, the other point about it is like, I genuinely think, and I try not to do politics, but I just think it's another Boris say something, see what the general reaction is, knowing full well that it will be 50-50, people will be up in arms against it and the other half won't care. And then in 2-3 weeks' time, he can safely retract it and go, oh, no, we won't do that. And then half the people will go, oh, yeah, brilliant, well done, Boris, for retracting something ridiculous that he wasn't going to do or we didn't want him to do anyway. And he looks like some kind of hero for saying he's not going to do something ridiculous.
Yeah. And this idea of a two-tier system, right, with some pubs operating at half capacity, right, half the population. So, yeah, some pubs operating at half capacity with social distancing, and the other half operating where half the population, including their staff, can't go in. Now, someone's going to have to do maths on that to work out which version of that is going to be more profitable. Because the industry's on its knees and they're pouring beer down the drains. Yeah, and that's probably the thing about kids in pubs, right? Because they won't have any jabs, and I'd take my kids to the pub. Yeah. I know it's a different possibility, but last summer it was great for a little while there, and I'd take my kid swimming in the morning, knacker her out, pub for lunch, couple of pints. Where she did she was zonked out enough to do some colouring. I had a couple of pints and read the paper. Brilliant. I can't take her in, then I might be in trouble for going in myself. Anyway, then there's people who refuse to get vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
And part of me wants to say, stuff them. It's their problem. Right, but
even over and above that, it's like people who refuse to get vaccinated or people who lie to get vaccinated, and I've seen issues of that. And also with any rule you put in, especially like say people lying to get vaccinated, some people will try to get round it. So you've got people who haven't been vaccinated. Well, however they're going to do this passport scheme, somebody will find a way to get a nookie one.
Oh yeah.
They shouldn't be them, but they shouldn't be there. And so that's why it doesn't make any sense. And we've already, a lot of people have already identified about the safety of bars and pubs because we've got that social distancing in over and above being in the market.
No, I was reading up about from Stephen Riker. He's a behavioural psychologist who works with Sage. I've not actually met him. He works with Susan Mickey, who we interviewed last year when I was a real journalist, about behavioural psychology. Sorry?
What are you now? Not a real journalist.
Want to be chicken farmer, I think that's what I'm now. A chicken farmer like chickens. But he's a behavioural psychologist, and he was saying that if you're going to make the vaccine passport, if you're going to make the vaccine itself compulsory for participation in society, right, then you're effectively confirming the suspicions of all the conspiracists, right, and you're going to undermine any further take up in people who are already concerned about social control, right? Because that's the whole thing. They're all trying to control us, and now they are actually making it, and now they are.
Yeah.
And he says, it's better to instead get the rollout to reach everyone instead, right? Because if the vaccine take-up rate is high enough, then vaccine passports themselves become irrelevant. Right? Now, the problem with this is that we still don't know what percentage take-up is actually needed to get herd immunity, and the science isn't there yet. We don't know, right, for COVID-19. In measles, right, 95% of people in the community to have had to be vaccinated to establish herd immunity. And in polio, it's about 80%. Now, Anthony Fauci over in the US, he said they'll need between 70 and 80% of the US to be vaccinated before they get back to whatever they call normality over there.
Yeah.
So the government, the NHS, the health authorities, public health authorities, you and me need to be reaching out and engaging with all communities to explain and educate that the vaccine is for everyone, and it is important.
Yeah.
The whole thing about while I'm on my soapbox, the whole thing about the fight against this pandemic, right, has been about the science. Got to trust the science, and that's not just about immunology and vaccine building, right? That's also behavioural science, right?
Yeah.
Because if people paid attention to the behavioural scientists, then they would have understood how lockdowns can work better, right? And how people can pay attention to how things can work and how modelling works, right? So these folks need to be just as innovative as any other scientists in ways to find ways to build trust, right? And like any scientific research, we need to support them with funding. We can't just vaccinate the elderly, right, and the vulnerable and let it sweep through the rest of us. You and I, we're less likely to die from it, right? But 7 out of 10 people who are hospitalised still have symptoms 5 months later, right? And 20% of them are way bad and can't return to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've sort of been okay because I've been lucky enough to stay well away from everything and everybody pretty much. I keep saying this, and like, right, it's like how you decide. It's all generalisms, isn't it? You've got to be general, but also specific in these kind of rules and laws and regulations, trying to regulate people.
Yep. Yeah, because even after by the way, the vaccine passports are a good idea, but who's going to make and enforce these, right? Because the government keeps passing them back to landlords, and that's shameless, right? As if we'd expect nothing less from this government. But who's going to? Our land's going to have to hire bouncers to check vaccine passports at the door, right? And who's paying for that?
Yeah.
Who's going to help out when bar staff refuse to serve someone who won't produce their vaccine passport? They call the police. Are the police going to support them? No, it's not like police have got anything else to do at the moment.
At the moment, and who wants to be involved in that kind of argument? Incidentally, whilst we've been talking, I've seen comments roll around and people rocking up who I haven't had a chance to say hello to. So if you popped in the last 10 minutes, I haven't had a chance to say hello. So hello to everybody joining, and there is a few people in there. So thank you very much. Rasko says beer. I think he wants us to keep it light.
Yeah, I know, but all right. Well, we know the government is giving such little support. We know that government has given such little support to pubs and the brewing industry that breweries are having to pour their beers down the drain, right? And that's heartbreaking. James called up and Fever reckons it'll be at least 3 months before pubs can trade profitably again. And how many small independent family businesses do you know, right, that could have coped with the last year and now face another 3 months actually running at a loss?
Well, yeah.
In 2018, right, before the pandemic, right, pubs were closing at a rate of 18 a week. Right, so more pubs are going to close, more communities lost, more heritage gone. And the government, as you know, is going to sit there and watch these small businesses go to the wall, safe in the knowledge that big pubcos and property barons are going to, probably Tory donors, are going to sweep in a few months' time and take over the assets at rock bottom prices and make a killing. Right, you know what's going to happen. And they're all bastards. I'm sorry. The only thing I hate more than watching beer being poured down the drain is fucking Tories. Right. I'm going to sit back.
James, you're preaching to the converted with me, to be fair, and probably everybody else hopefully watching. But in terms of supporting breweries and businesses, as Rasko says, let's get back to the beer. No, I totally agree with you. Don't worry, you're absolutely spot on. Something we did last week, which I think is good for supporting breweries, definitely, and business, especially smaller breweries, is we was looking through on Twitter. There's a podcast called Time for a Brew, and they're doing the World Cup of breweries.
Yeah. I saw something about this, but I haven't been following it at all, and I know you have, and I want to hear more about it.
Yeah, so last week me and Rasko launched into this rundown of all the runners and riders, and without actually realising there were 38 separate groups into the last round. So they're narrowing it down, but we went through all of the groups. So I'm not going to go through it again this week so much, but what I will say is, I think about half hour ago there was another bunch of groups finished, and so the breweries that are through at the moment, and again there's quite a lot of big names here, I'll just run through the ones that are through up until 10 o'clock today. So through to the next round, to the last 32 in the World Cup, are Track, Elusive, Pressure Drop, another favourite of yours, and that was the real group of death for us that we discussed at length last week, because in that group was two
breweries as a whole.
Breweries, just the breweries as a whole, and there's no criteria for this. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what you want to choose, and they do it in groups of 4, and you just vote, and whoever gets the highest vote at the end of it. So some breweries have rallied a bunch of fans and got through where maybe you wouldn't have expected them to. Like I said, like in a group with Pressure Drop, Turning Point, Drygate, and Leon Sea Brewing, that for me was really difficult, because Turning Point I've had a lot and love. Drygate I've had so much. It was one of my beers of the year last year, and Rasco was always going to love Pressure Drop. So Pressure Drop went through on that one.
I'm a big Pressure Drop fan, yeah.
Mad Squirrel, good to see them go through. Another local brewery, almost to me-ish, up in Hertfordshire. Donzoco, Wiper and True over in Bristol. They beat Weird Beard. Oh, you can't see my Weird Beard t-shirt. Not unexpectedly, Siren went through. I think they came second last year.
So I just came through. Rasco's posted that he's drinking Smoked Brown by Ansett Snob Day, and that is a fine beer, isn't it?
Stuff. I'm drinking a signature brew Rasco, a coffee pale ale. It doesn't actually have much coffee in it. It's much more of a fruity pale ale. How's your wild card going down, Jim?
Really done. It's but Rasco. It's the wild card. Lucid Dreams. It's a NIPA. It's 5.6%. It's a hazy, fruity NIPA. Say no more.
Talking of comments, I see Lucy there, a very regular contributor, just drinking Time and Tide. It's a local Kent brewery over there, so very happy to shout about Time and Tide. Just quickly to finish this list, Siren, Green Duck, Marble, Beer Nouveau, and Lost and Grounded, joined by Fine Ales, which went through in a group against Neon Raptor, and our guest tonight, Wild Horse. So it's good to see them in the next round, beaten by, Fine Ales of Scotland, pretty well known. Just quickly, James, a few groups, there's a few that were really difficult for me to choose. So what would you have chosen on these groups? Well, I reckon these are groups of death, so-called groups of death. So Group P, and this will have finished by now, so I don't know what the results are, but I think these ones were coming through because they do it in separate times. But out of a group of Orbit, Fierce Beer, Hamilton, and Brew by Numbers, what would you go for? Do you know what I mean? So three big London breweries, and a very big brewery from Scotland.
Brew by Numbers. It's difficult to beat anything by Brew by Numbers. Orbit. You know what
I mean? How difficult is that?
I'll go Brew by Numbers.
To be fair, I think I did in the end at a push-click Brew by Numbers for our vote. I don't know what Rasco, because we had this discussion last week. I was doing it off of the Rasco and Disco account. I probably shouldn't have been. We should have agreed on it, and he went off and done it off it. So we sort of split the vote a little bit. But I went Brew by Numbers. I think Rasco will have gone Brew by Numbers. Lucy's gone Brew by Numbers. Hamilton is another London brewery. I wish I'd got a lot more in lockdown and didn't get a chance. I don't know. I can't. It's going to take too long, but they will have finished recently, so we'll find out tomorrow what the result of that was. Group Q is quite good. Buxton, Salt, Vocation, and Mondo.
See, I had a Salt last night. Well, I don't know. What fell last night? Hang on, give me a second. I've got a count.
Okay. I know those breweries. Mondo are probably the underdogs there slightly, and they've got a lot of well-known beers. Buxton always been out big beers, but I've never gone to Buxton too much. And again, Salt don't know a lot about, but I see their beers, and they've recently done well bouncing into the craft beers. The Hexagon series. Have you got one of those? What you got?
So no, I had this from Siren yesterday. I kept the can because I wanted to show you, and it's a collaboration with North Brewing and Salt Beer Factory.
Yeah,
all three of them. This beer takes the best of each of our flagship IPAs to create something unique, and it was absolutely punchy. How strong was it? 6%. And it was punchy, full of flavour, real cool. So hang on.
Okay, I mean, I think I had that one. Might have been early this year. I just picked it up and thought, well, I've got to try these pale ales, and I have been a lot more recently. I don't really remember it. It voted for me, you know.
Just in the comments, was Vocation one of those groups? One of those in that group? I think
Buxton, Salt, Vocation, Mondo.
Oh, I didn't hear Vocation. In that case, yeah, my vote's for Vocation because everything they do is great and they're really affordable. Right?
True. I think basically because they bought so much out recently.
I got a case.
Supermarkets.
I got a case from them recently because they do free delivery on cases on deliveries more than £35, free UK delivery.
I've not looked at them.
Yeah, and I've had a few cases from them over the I had one of their Black Friday deals, which is fantastic. And I got myself, there was something, God, I can't remember what beer it was now, but which is not a good sign. It was there 7.2% NIPA, which is why I don't remember what it was called. Even though I had 12 of them. And it didn't go over it was over 20% off for newsletter subscribers. So it didn't go over the £35 mark for free delivery. So I got myself another couple of cans. There's an Affogato Stout, 10 point something percent Affogato Stout. And it looks absolutely incredible. And I was going to have it for my birthday, but their website has them pouring it over like vanilla ice cream. And I thought, you know what? That looks a bit tasty. I might wait till I've got some ice cream. Sitting in the fridge waiting until I get some ice cream. And then
Harry from Those Beer Reviews, thanks for popping in. Good to see you.
Also, Matt Gregg 52. Matt Gregg 52. I think he's the lad I went to school with. Hey, how about that? That's Matthew Gregg. Bloody hell. Okay. Oh,
superb, mate. So many people popping in tonight. Thanks to everybody for popping in. If I haven't mentioned you, I suppose I've missed the things rolling around. Just quickly, James, Group V on that one. Yeah. Try this one. Utopian, Brew York, Burning Sky, and Wildcard.
Wildcard for me all the way, 100%.
Yeah. But you can see the difficulty of that, can't you? I mean, Burning Sky are like well regarded, got some good beers out. I've not tried any. Brew York, love pretty much everything they do. It's a difficult one, that one. And just finally, just to really rub it in, and this is difficult mostly for Rasco, I think. Like Group 30, because they run out of letters. Group 30 is Mobberley Brewhouse, my favourites Brass Castle, who were my brewery of the year last year for all the stuff they bring out and still bring out some really good stuff. And the last two in that group, Anspach and Hobday and Colonel.
Now, Anspach and Hobday, everything they do is lovely. And they were very friendly to us when we went down to check out the Bermondsey Beer Mile last year. Yeah. Colonel, I feel maybe I've got quite a degree of guilt about Colonel, so maybe I should vote for Colonel out of guilt.
That's a different way of doing it, yeah. But yeah, you had a not an issue. There was I
did have an issue.
An interesting
on that Bermondsey Beer Mile. For everyone else, there was a problem, and I need to visit the bathroom quite. It's
not your fault. They have very small toilets.
Yeah, but he kept the place open. He was going to be going home, and he kept it open so he could nip in and grab a beer. And I cheekily asked if I could use the loo, and then proceeded to have one of the most devastating dumps I've had in some time. Whoa, it was real cool. It was really something. I feel
leaving turned out.
Yeah, I left it all behind me. It was, oh dear, yeah. So I felt bad and sorry towards Colonel ever since. Because yeah, it was quite something.
Well,
yeah. So I'd have to vote for Colonel out of guilt, if nothing else, on that one.
it's not the worst way of deciding that group. To be fair, that's elevate. I mean, I'm going to go with Brass Castle. Apologies, Anspach and Hobday, who we've a lot of love for. Rasko's right. He says there, Colonel and Anspach and Hobday are very similar. We discussed this last week. Both bring out really, I don't want to use the word simple beers. They're just, there's no messing about. They more so the Colonel, they just bring out a brown ale, a saison, a lager, a this. There's less about them.
They're still watching. They were earlier.
No,
I think
yeah, so very difficult one to choose on that one. I came across the guy who runs the channel Time for a Brew podcast somewhat randomly on Thursday night. I had a Zoom birthday party with Turning Point. It was their 4th birthday. So they released a bunch of beers that they've done before and a couple of new ones, basically custard beers.
Oh, blimey.
So Yellow Matter Custard, that was a custard pale ale. They had a raspberry version and a chocolate custard version, and they were amazing. Like when you get like a vanilla pale ale or vanilla stout, they can be muchness, but they are really amazing custard beers. And so there was a bunch of breweries on that they're doing collab series with. Siren were there, North were there, Donzoco were there. The brewery from Nottingham, Neon Raptor. And they did a load of competitions like throughout the evening to like win beer and stuff. And I was quite lucky in that this T-shirt here above me, which I don't know if you can quite see it, a Guinness T-shirt from 2008, like in Christchurch, New Zealand, 2008, right? The competition was who's got the brewery T-shirt from the furthest away from Turning Point. So there was I put a Czech T-shirt on first of all, and then the guy came back with Sierra Nevada, and I went, hang on a minute, and it was hanging up behind me, so I put the Guinness T-shirt on and I went, I don't know if this is cheating or not, because I don't think they was expecting Guinness, but Guinness is actually brewed in New Zealand. They've got a brewery in New Zealand. So yeah, fine. So I won a Turning Point T-shirt and a slab of beer. So thank you very much, and happy birthday once again to Turning Point. Harry's talking about Turning Point in the comments.
He just had one.
The pink custard, yeah, the pink custard. The raspberry custard, I wasn't quite so keen on. It was quite tart, which obviously because it's raspberry, and they were talking about that on the stream the other day. I think I preferred the yellow matter custard, and obviously because it's a stout, the dark matter custard, the chocolate one. So, are you ready for another beer, James?
I am. Just being subtle, you know. Now, shall we go for a Black Cloak?
I think so. That's what I'm looking at. I've because because when we finalised this on Wednesday, I had a bit of a rush job, and I thought, well, I might as well try and get some beers in. And turned out, both Black Cloak and Wildcard have done me absolutely solid and got me some beers in. What are you going to go for with the Black Cloak? Which Black Cloak have you got?
I don't know. I'm going to check the fridge. Hang on.
Okay. Right. So I'll tell the anecdote because I wasn't really planned, and I thought, well, I'll see. I'll put an order in just in case. I'm prepared to accept, depending on what couriers are like. I might not get it till Monday, but I thought, well, I've got to try the beers because I know James has got some. James has gone down to Black Cloak, a local tap room to him in North Wales, and got some in. He got some Wild Horse as well, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I went on Wild Horse first because I knew he was talking about that, and I put a small order in and banged it off, and it went away, and I got it wrong. I got the order wrong. Well, not wrong. I got 6 beers in because I only really do small orders at the moment. And I put a pale ale and a Session IPA on, and I didn't mean to. I meant to put the coffee porter on. So I thought, oh, disco, you idiot, no problem. And then we were talking about Black Cloak, and I thought, well, I'll have a look at Black Cloak just to do a bit of research. And I'd see they got national delivery. I didn't actually realise that. So I put an order on with Black Cloak as well, and I got Black Cloak's Session IPA, Take It Easy, and I got their coffee porter as well. And then I see on the website they got a couple of they got the Wild Horse one that I'd forgot to order, the coffee porter. So I thought, well, I'll order that as well, and I'll see what turns up. And it turned out both websites were brilliant, easy to use, banged it on, and they both done me a proper solid. And I got the email, like that was like Wednesday night, so that was like 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. The order's gone through. On the Thursday, I've got a notification set from both of them in fairly close time saying, your order's ready to go, it's getting delivered. I'm like, superb. So it depends what courier they use, each of them use, whether they're both coming from the same place or how good the couriers will be. And the notification from, I've forgotten which one it was. But one of the notifications was from Parcel Force. And I'm like, oh, actually, that's quite good, because last week I got a Trembling Madness order through Parcel Force and it was delivered the next day. So I'm thinking, well, I'm maybe getting this on Friday. Happy days. And then hopefully the Wild Horse one will come through as well. So then Friday morning, I overslept.
I can beer reviews.
Hey, Craig, all right, thanks for popping in. Friday morning, I've overslept and I didn't see the notification. I got a notification at 7:30 in the morning to say that Parcel Force were delivering my beers between 9 and 10. So I woke up at 11:15 to a notification. You missed the delivery, and I'm like, no! Right? So I'm panicking at this point. Well, not panicking, I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. So I sat there on Friday trying to work out what to do. I eventually phoned them. And I ended up agreeing to walk, because I'm not getting on public transport still, to walk over to the distribution centre 6 miles away in Park Royal to get, that was Black Cloak, that's Black Cloak, to get me Black Cloak beers, right? And then I've got a notification from DHL, and I had one on Thursday night to say that my Wild Horse beers were coming on Monday. And I'm like, okay, I took the gamble, no problem. I've got a notification from DHL about 10 o'clock to say my Wild Horse beers were turning up on Friday, and then about 2 hours later, DHL popped along with my Wild Horse beers. So I'm like, oh, great, I've got some beers. So I'm sitting there worrying about my Black Cloak, and then the Parcel Force guy called again about 2:30 in the afternoon to re-deliver my Black Cloak beers. So I'm like, oh, absolutely superb. And I've stopped calling Parcel Force Parcel Fast anymore, because they've done me proper solid 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to go on to, like I should have done on Friday, Take It Easy, the Session IPA from Black Cloak. And thank you very much to Black Cloak for getting these beers for me. James Rasco has said, we've forgotten, I think I can invite Rasco on. I think we can do a three-person.
So to speak.
So, a three-way, so to speak. I mean, well, we've had many of them in the past, haven't we? We've the three of us drinking beer in various pubs. So, I'm catching up with the bits there.
What I've got, which is also from Black Cloak. I've got the Big Corruption Fat Cat IPA. Sort of ties in earlier theme. I'll read you what it says on the back. Until now, the preserve of a privileged few, we thought it was about time everyone got to enjoy some big corruption. A smooth, decadent body meets brown envelope stuffed full of the finest mosaic and Motueka hops, the waves of juicy tropical fruit flavors on the palate with a hint of lime. Close your eyes and you could be on the beach of your favorite offshore tax haven.
Or on the beach at Motueka, which I think is New Zealand, isn't it, Motueka?
I'll take your word for it.
This one says, take it easy, a smashable super pale ale brewed with wheat and oats in a mash for a soft mouthfeel. Cascade and Amarillo hops bring flavours of freshly squeezed tangerine and papaya. Now, I'm pleased to see that, because earlier I had a turning point. And I've got to stop saying this, but finding IPAs and pale ales with citra in really smashes my palate. So to find something other than Citra is really quite pleasing, and actually I think it's quite noticeable. It is kind of, it's still got that kind of tropical fruit kind of.
Yeah.
In Amarillo, I don't know too well because you probably see it less than the Citras and the what did I have? I had a Session IPA from Turning Point earlier, and I looked at it, and I should look at the hops before I order them, but you've got to try these things, you know. And this was it had Citra in it. It was really noticeable, but it is smashable. It looks a different colour on the screen there. It looks kind of red, and it isn't. It's got a red tinge to it, which is kind of odd. But no, it's a really tasty, really smashable IPA, I think.
No, cheers. Drink.
Cheers, cheers. So yeah, you moved to North Wales out of the blue for no apparent reason, apart from reasons.
Apart from losing my job and not being able to keep my mortgage in London and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought we get out before we had to.
Yeah.
I don't know, my savings would have kept us going for a few months on that mortgage, and hundreds of journalists being laid off every week in London. At that point, I wasn't going to get another senior job. So, right, we've been talking for ages about going out to London, going out to Wales when the time came. Thought, right, let's do it. Let's see what we can do. And one of the things I was sad about was leaving. You know, the mecca of craft beer isn't probably the right way of in East London. Given that I was I think I worked out I was within walking distance of 17 craft breweries.
17,
something like that. And walking distances might have been a bit of a push, but within a 5-mile radius of our house, it was mad. Cars in North Wales, it's going to be a beer desert, isn't it? You know, and I've been very wrong. Like, yeah, it's not East London, but it's yeah. So I'm just outside Colwyn Bay, and Colwyn Bay is not a hipster town, not by any stretched imagination. It's a bit more of a heroin addicts. It all goes wrong. Let's go back to where we had our childhood holidays because nothing bad could possibly happen there, sort of town. And so it's a bit rough around the edges. There is not a sourdough bakery for 50 miles. Not that
but we found out tonight you've got a Domino, so it can't be all bad.
Sorry?
We found out tonight you've got a Domino, so it can't be all bad.
That is true. Domino's do deliver. There's civilization up here. No, and we've got Black Cloak in Colwyn Bay.
Yeah.
We've got a Crafty Fox as a Kent Beer Reviews, Port Madog area. No, that's further down the coast.
So you're much further north of Port Madog, aren't you, on the north coast? Yeah,
we're on the north coast, about halfway in the middle, more or less.
Yeah, Port Madog's much more on the west coast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the armpit of the Clean Peninsula. In a nice way, you know. That's Port Madog's a great town. I've got the Dramatic Arms, which I've never been into, and I've driven past so many times. It looks like a lovely pub, and I've always wanted to go in there. Anyway, in Old Colwyn we've got, in terms of craft beer, we've got the Crafty Fox, which is a little micro pub. We've got Black Cloak in Colwyn Bay itself, which is brewery and tap room. A little further around the corner, we've got the Bay Hop, which is a craft beer bar, and that's just in Colwyn Bay. So there's a number 12 bus runs from Llandudno to Rhyl, and you've got You got Taps Micropub in Llandudno, which I think is just turning itself into a bottle shop as well at the moment. Take advantage of what they can do now. Taps in Llandudno. You've got towards us. Actually, on the way in Penryn Bay, there's BY's supermarket or something. It's just an ordinary corner shop.
Yeah.
But it's got an amazing craft beer selection, and they've just opened up a beer cave, the whole refrigerated room, controlled room for beer. It's absolutely fantastic. Then you've got all those I mentioned in Colwyn Bay. You carry on, and there's another one in Abergele, whose name I now can't remember. And if you keep going, you've got Polly's Brewery in Mold, who are amazing. Everything they do is really great. They only do small batch stuff. I've never had the same beer twice, and it's oh god, it's beautiful. Polly's beer, you've got to drink it. If you find some, you've got to drink it.
Yeah, I think Rasco's picked up a couple of Polly's. I've not. Although I think Beer Asylum have got Polly's. I just haven't had a chance to go down that route.
I didn't mention Wild Horse either, and there's Snowdonia Brewing as well. They're not on the number 12 route, but there's a lot up here. It's not East London, but I'm not short of good beer. Not short of good beer around here. Yeah. It's really good.
And was that a bit of a surprise for you, like, or did you check that out before you went?
I went into a pub when lockdown was lifted for a little while. I went to a pub in Colwyn Bay called the Cuckoo, somewhere. And there's M&B on draft, M&B mild.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw M&B mild on draft anywhere?
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah, I about 20 years for me, I think.
That's a living memory.
Yeah, it's yeah. Parts of it are a bit 1990s.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder that I was here in the 90s. If when I was here in the 90s, it was actually like the 70s. I don't know.
I suppose it was the 90s. University in Bangor.
Yeah.
So I remember very little about those times, but also very specific things.
Nada Ramadan has joined. Hey, Nada. We used to work together a long time ago.
Cool. Thanks for popping in. Cheers.
Yeah, no. So North Wales is far from the beer desert I thought it was going to be, and then you keep going. There you are. Called you about 3 years ago. You keep going around the coast, and there's a whole load around in Gwynedd. And I'm just talking about the pubs and microbreweries on one bus route. Keep going around. There's microbrewery in Nevin. My old mate Richard Singer used to say I had a girlfriend from Carnarvon. She'd say, if you can't show heaven, show a Nevin. Nevin's a beautiful little town, and now it has a lovely microbrewery. And of course, I don't know how I could quite forget. I live next door to a brewery.
Of course, yeah. I'd say at the end of your road, but yeah, it's literally like a 2-minute walk.
No, listen. I can throw a stone and hit it. It's Conway Brewery. It's a bit more old-fashioned. Couldn't necessarily call it craft. Though they have done a bunch of West Coast IPA type bottled brews. Conway Brewery, lovely fellas. I've been nicking their pallets in the back of their warehouse to keep my family warm all summer, all winter. I've been chucking it in the log fire. They did say it was all right. But...
Yeah, I did actually try to order from them because when we talked about it earlier on in the week, and I was on their website on a Tuesday, and I thought, well, there's like a like a 12-pack, I think it was. And I thought, well, I'll do that. And then I saw on the delivery notes they only dispatch on a Tuesday, and if you order on a Tuesday, it doesn't get dispatched till the following Tuesday. So I had to wait up on that one. I thought, it's like, obviously went to check out Wild Horse and Black Cloak instead. Sarah says she's looked up a bakery in Conway.
Okay, we were in Conway.
I can't remember how many are there. I don't know.
No, I could probably picture the exact one she means. How far is Conway from me? No, Conway Brewery is they've got a fantastic stout. The Rampart Porter is really deep and rich and lovely and treacly and all the things you'd expect. It's time going home. Yes, that is my home address. Yes, save that. God dear.
I've been trying to go, James, because I see a thing the other week that Instagram now you can have more than 2 people on the stream. For 30 odd weeks we've been doing this. It's just been me and Rasco, but I found the thing you can do more than 1 people. But I think I've gone in on the wrong thing. I should have created a room in case Rasco could get on. So it's just you and me, so I can't actually invite Rasco on. I'm sorry about that, Rasco. That's just a bit of learning for it. Always learning, as I use the hashtag. But we'll have to try that another time if we can all 3 of us get on the stream and get other people in as well. But for now, it's just you and me, James.
Always learning, never earning. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not at the moment. I'm definitely doing a lot of learning, but I'm actually enjoying this Black Cloak beer. Again, I got the Session IPA because, as I say, IPAs are generally, I hate using the term, they're not my thing, but they're not. But so the Session IPAs I find kind of dull down the big Citra notes, and this is the good kind of Citra notes. This is more orangey rather than like grapefruit and that kind of big Citra hit that I don't really like. So as a Session IPA, as an IPA, this is really drinkable, really juicy, and it is quite smashable, to be fair. It's going down pretty quick and pretty tasty.
Yep, fair play. Good stuff, like to hear it.
I am quite keen to get onto that coffee stout, but I might leave the coffee stout, it's still in the stash, so I can maybe bounce it off the Wild Horse coffee stout. So the next one I'm going on is the Wild Horse Session IPA, just to contrast the two.
Hang on. Vasco should be able to request to join the live from his Instagram.
Well, I've got a thing down the bottom here I've never noticed before because I don't normally host. And it says invite people, but it says only 1 guest can be in your live video. I saw a thing where they have Instagram live rooms, and maybe I haven't set it up in a live room, but the instructions I read just said set it up as a live. So maybe, Rasco, if you send an invite, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it chucks James out or what.
Rasco, send a request.
Yeah, if you can, Rasco, and we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, well, Rasco is not afraid to chuck comments in for us to. He did send one earlier, James. I think we both missed it. What's your favourite hop? Which is a little bugger of a question. I always find it difficult to answer that. But what is your favourite hop? Should you have one?
I'm not sure I do. There's plenty more to explore.
Yeah.
And Citra has been so widely used in the past couple of years, I've almost got tired of it. Almost. But the thing is, it's been widely used for a good reason. Right? It produces these beautiful floral citrus flavors and aromas. I'm a big fan of mosaic hops. I like the roundedness. What about you?
Well, I got asked this question on Thursday again on the Turning Point Live. I like to say now when I get asked that, just to confuse people, I like to say SARS, because I do love a good pint of Pilsner Urquell. So SARS hops is obviously going to be a favourite, and it does confuse people because they think, oh, you meant to say Mosaic or Citra or Simcoe or whatever. So I see SARS. However, I just remembered me and Rasco did a live with Mad Yank before Christmas, and they had a beer that was brewed with Hefeweizen yeast, so it tasted of banana without actually having any bananas in.
Yeah.
And Grant from Mad Yank actually said he got this hop called Beata, which also has that kind of banana estery flavours in it. So I'm probably going to say between SARS and Beata, again, because Beata probably people haven't heard of it. And I did say this on Thursday to Turning Point, and they were, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we've heard of that. But Grant said he reckoned he'd got the last order of Beata hops in this country. And he ordered it en masse because he was doing this. That was the No Evil, the 12% Imperial Stout that he did. So yeah, either SARS or Beata because it confuses people.
I'm going to change my mind on Mosaic, actually.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what British beer is built on? British beer is built on Golding's hops.
I was going to say Goldings or Bramlin Cross, yeah.
Yeah. Traditional, quintessential British hop. So my favourite, I think, would be the Dwarf Goldings. Okay. Specifically, because that's what I grew in my garden.
Of course, yeah. I've got to speak to you about that growing hops. Yeah, are you growing hops again this year?
I'm not this year because of the 3 hop plants I had, I left 2 in the ground for the bloke who bought my house, and I took one. Excuse me. I took one with me, and then we left all our plants at my in-laws because we couldn't. We'd left Ada, that's my kid, for anyone else. We left her at the in-laws for a week while we got ourselves packed up before the move, and then we pulled the car up with stuff, the last stuff to take up. We had to leave all the plants at the in-laws if we wanted to fit the kid in the car.
It's not a tough choice, your kid or the hops, but tough choice.
Yeah, I would have been okay with the other way around, but you know. So they're still there in my father-in-law's conservatory at the moment. Hopefully not growing. I don't think he's put them in anything.
A great coincidence. Harry, who is actually head brewer for a brewery, he said he used 20 kilograms of Goldings in a beer today.
So Harry, I'll tell you this. Jono's just joined. All right, Jono, cheers, mate.
Jono, as in actual Jono?
Oh, I presume so. I don't know anyone else called Jono Stone.
No, we are, Jono. Good to see you, sir.
Cheers. Yeah, so what we did, sorry, what's the name of Blue Nose Beer? Harry.
Blue Nose Beer was Harry.
So what we used to do in Walthamstow, Harry, we had a hop growing cooperative, right? So across Walthamstow. So in March or whenever you'd sign up to the program, you'd buy your hop rhizome, you'd stick it in the ground, and you'd grow it over the course of the summer. And in September, second or third weekend of September, there'd be an email would go out, and everyone would chop their hops at the same time, take it down to ELB, East London Brewery, down in Leighton, and they would, we'd spend the day with barbecue and a few beers, and we'd all be picking the hops off the vines, I should say, and then do a big brew. I'd do a big brew up with everything that was they'd made. About 70 kilos we'd get over the course from the whole of Walthamstow, everyone that was taking part. And it was a great day. It was a great thing to do over the summer. It was a great day to do the picking and the brewing all together. And then a couple of weeks later, it would be in the local pubs. Everyone who contributed would get 3 pints and 3 bottles. Sorry, 3 half pints and 3 bottles, plus first dibs on buying more. And it'd be in casks in Rose and Crown and LaBelle, in a couple of other places around town, Williamforth. So behind the bar, Walthamstow green hopped pale, And one year they did the dark as well, which is fantastic. And it was a really good community project because they had the beer launch day, the beer launch night, rather. We'd all get together and drink together and have a great time. And it was a really good community project, really good community beer project. And I remember the first day it was launched, I was on my own, went in. Actually, no, the first time I went in, for the first launch, I got chatting to this bloke. It turned out his wife knew my wife. And in fact, we lived 3 or 4 doors away from each other. And after that, we became friends, and our kids became friends. And we went on holiday to Finland together. They're a lovely family. It brought us together. But yeah, the following year was in there, and when they first got it on the barrel, and I had a message from one of my mates and said, "What does it taste like, mate? What does it taste like?" I thought, tastes like pride. It's what it is. It's pride. That's what this tastes of. Because this was the hops going to my garden.
That's a difficult one to use, because when you say pride, I immediately went London Pride. What are you talking about? No, you want pride in brewing of what you've achieved.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah. That was so yeah. Dwarf Goldings for bringing our community together is why it's my favourite hop.
It's something I'd meant to do this year because I've got the space in the garden for it. I was gonna take your advice from growing hops and stuff like that, but again, March has rolled on and the weeks roll on, and I've not got around to planting anything or doing anything, so that might be a next year thing.
I was hoping that. Oh yeah, nice to see that. I was hoping to launch a similar project up here, but given that this year's been a bit different to normal, I think that's next year. But if I can talk Conway Brewery next door into doing it, and I don't see why they wouldn't, then we can do a green hop beer with.
You've got the space up there, and if you get your neighbour or people down the road to grow a bit, surely Conway would be happy with a donation of hops.
Like getting the whole of Colwyn Bay doing it, get the North Wales beer scene on board, and everyone growing as much as they can, and then seeing how much we can make.
How are you saying? 60 kilograms of Cascade.
Yeah. Good shout.
Using 2 different ones.
Good shout.
I mean, is hop growing? Did you find it fairly easy? Is it a case of just bung it in the ground and watch it grow and then harvest it later, or do you have to do a bit of care and maintenance to it? Or
you got to keep the snails off it. Snails love the hops, but that was pretty much it. Right, the caterpillar will go for it and everything else will go for it, but it's a pretty hardy plant. It grows, and if I can grow it, then there's hope for anyone. I got I get off it last year. I got loads of it last year. I think I got something like 4 or 5 kilos just in my own plants. Yeah, they grow better when they're in the ground rather than in pots.
Okay.
Water every day, plenty of water, and that's it. Keep the snails off. Yeah, and our garden was snail central last year. It's good.
Well, my problem is slugs.
Yeah.
Rather than snails, but I mean, the extent of my gardening was propagating some mint and about 6 small tomatoes. And a lot of weeds. Oh no, because I mean, like my garden is big on like blackberries. I've got a lot of blackberry brambles going on, so it's more about the fruit and the apple tree. But yeah, I've got the space, so it's something I really should get into, especially putting some hop holes in.
Yeah, it's not difficult, and get a dwarf variety because then you don't have to have stilts to harvest them.
When do you have to plant by? Do you have to have planted by now, or is it like first bits of spring or what?
Now is probably a good time to plant. Now, or maybe slightly earlier.
Yeah.
But, yeah. They tend to do better in the second year anyway. So plant them now for next year. Plant them now, see what you get off them this summer. But next year will be the one to go for.
Yeah. I mean, I assume you haven't got I've got the time, I suppose. Like you want to always do something now.
Yeah.
But you have to. Like if I'd done it 5 years ago when I was first here, then it would be bouncing by now. But yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. What's the old thing? The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago, and the second best time is today.
There's a little bit of advice there. Jono's bouncing in. Thank you, Jono. Citrus peel around the plants for slugs and snails. Grandma remedy.
Yeah. Also, the eggshells. Crush up eggshells.
Yeah.
They don't like crawling over it.
Well, my problem is like there's a little gap underneath the door, and the slugs can get in, and they come and eat the cat food. So I've got to find a way. I'm going to have to seal it. There's like a little and it's lit. I've seen a slug crawl back through this gap that's literally like 3 mil. So I don't think cat food is good because they eat the cat food, and I think they bloat up and they go green, the slugs. So I don't think cat food is good for them. So maybe that's a little remedy as well. I don't know.
Could give them the cat food, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we had
cheap.
Ada loves snails, which is really handy. She would go around. You could send her around the garden with a flower pot, and she'd go and pick them off and stick them in. She'd stroke them and poke the antennae and stuff. And then we'd go to the field down the road and get rid of them.
Really? I'd have thought a week on just lettuce and then a bit of garlic. Tasty. That's how you have to do it.
We were seriously getting like 40 a day.
Okay.
Huge. I
don't think I would.
20 foot long.
But apparently, if you purge them for a week on like just one food, like lettuce, it gets all like the toxins out. Yeah. And then you just put a bit of garlic. But I mean, that's cruel. So I don't think I could do that. I think
if it wasn't for having a 4-year-old, I would have had a tennis racket. I was like, that's what you want with your slugs. You haven't got a kid. Tennis racket. Pick up. Doing. See how many gardens you get over.
It's even crueler. I've got a thing from Rasco. Let me see if I can do this. It keeps saying, right. So yeah. So I've got a request from Rasco to join, but every time I do it, I select it. It just says you can only have one person on. So we shall have to. We'll persevere. We're doing okay with the chats. We'll have to work out how to set up. If we can do this again, James, it'll be fun because we've been chatting away for an hour and a half now. You realise that?
Oh yeah.
These things go quickly, you know. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, Black Cloak and Wild Horse are still in the chat. I'm not sure. Monochrome Craft face popping in. Good to see you. That's why, yeah, Sarah says meant to feed them carrot for a few days. I think it's either carrot or lettuce. It's just like one food that kind of purges the food system. But
the snails were eating my tomatoes. They were eating my pak choy. They were eating my carrots. They were eating my courgettes. They're already eating better than I do. I'm not feeding them carrots and lettuce and fattening them up. They've already had all my bloody vegetables. I'm not giving them any more. Bloody snails.
No, well, that's what I say. It's meant to be like, if you capture them and feed them just one food, like either carrots or just lettuce, for like a week, it purges their system of all the other toxins, and they don't taste terrible when you eat them. You can. I learned that off of Dick Strawbridge's show on like. Do you remember Dick Strawbridge?
Yeah.
He did his son had like a wild food show where he just lived on forage food for a week. That's the only thing I learned off of that show, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't fancy. I know I've had snails in restaurants and stuff. You know, as one does. But just as you started saying that, bloody snails and Tories. That's what I hate. Snails and bloody Tories. I don't know. What you want to do? You want to feed them on one particular type of thing, then eat them. Yeah. Same with Tories.
One is slimy, disgusting, annoying, and the other is snails.
Hey. Yeah, eat the Tories.
I tell you what, as a Session IPA, I think that's gone down pretty quickly. Although I think it was about half an hour because we've been chatting away. So,
Yeah, I'm not far off on this one.
Black Cloak, Session IPA. Take it easy. I can't sing. I've got to put that up with a song.
That's true enough.
That's the other thing annoying about Instagram is it won't mirror video, so everything appears backwards. So you have to read it backwards, which is quite annoying. But there we go. Let's bring it over to YouTube. And I've been doing a few YouTube live videos at the moment. You can see everything the right way around on YouTube, so that might be a thing. And also, if we want the three of us on, a YouTube live with the three of us might be an interesting live drink up.
Yeah. Yeah, Tories taste great with garlic, Soylent Green Tories.
I think we're all on the same page.
Wasn't Soylent Green made of people? Tories don't count as people. Tories don't count.
Well, they're definitely not green either.
Yeah. Anyway, so top marks to Black Cloak for being lovely and brilliant with their deliveries and all round good eggs. Yeah, I think it's probably on to a Wild Horse next, isn't it?
It is. I mean, this is quite a rare thing that I do. Back-to-back IPAs, because I'm normally have gone on to the stouts and porters by now. But
I've got
as I've got a Session IPA, I might as well go on to the.
Because the one I've got from Wild Horse is the same stout that I think you've got from Wild Horse. The where was Devil's Haircut or something.
Oh, the Devil's Appendix. Yeah, I've got that lined up as well. So, because I think I'm gonna. So I've got two. I actually ended up getting more from Wild Horse than from Black Cloak, unfortunately, just because this is the Export Stout. I also got the Coffee Stout, but I'm probably going to leave that one to check it out against Black Cloak's Coffee Stout.
Okay.
And then I got a Wild Horse's Coffee Stout, and it's a collab with another brewery that's I should know and I do know and I can't remember. Hopefully, if they're in the chat, they will tell us. So I've got several darker ones from them, and normally I would do them straight away, but I've gone with the Session IPA.
Well, that is a good one. In that case, should I go on to a different Session IPA and save the Wild Horse Stout for afterwards?
Well, if you're happy with timings, I can probably slip another one in after that. Yeah, we can do that one together. Yeah, if you're good with that.
All right. What should I have in the meantime? How about we have a lottery? Not a lottery, but I got one of my birthday presents. My brother got me a case of Siren, and very generously, he also got me an advent calendar of Siren, and it's March, so it's not Advent anymore.
It's irrelevant.
I thanked him profusely. And it turns out he didn't order the advent calendar. I think they just included it.
Okay.
Because I haven't worked out who got it for me either. So I think they just whacked it in a delivery, which is probably 60 quid's worth of beer or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, get rid of it. Why not?
We could open the next one, the next door, and see what it is. Let me turn you around.
Well, there we go.
Beer 50 box. Other beer delivery services are available.
Is that the Belgian one?
Oh no, I do. Actually, that's an empty one. Oh, it's not empty. Oh, a couple of things in there. One ain't good. Shift it out. That's the Siren box. This is a cake from Hobson's. It's all very nice. This is the rest of the wild cards. That's their Cloudwater collab. Got some Buxton over there.
Good night, Jono. Just say Jono's off. Say good night, Jono.
No, night, Jono. Catch up soon, mate. Paul McLaughlin has just joined. Mate of mine from work a while ago. All right. What was the last one I had? What number are we up to on this? 1, 2, 4. Okay, so it must be on to 5 now. Where's number 5? Can you spy number 5?
All right, James. Whilst you keep doing that, I'm just going to literally nip out. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, keep going with what you've got in there.
No, I'm going to undo door number 5 and see what we've got here. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? There we are. What have we got in here? There's a little one. Oh, hello. Hello, nurse. Oh, yeah. That will set up the last stout nicely. Siren Broken Dream. Champion Beer of Britain, I think, wasn't it? Or was that the breakfast one? Still, lovely, eh? What is this? An indulgence of coffee, chocolate and specialty malts. Broken Dream, smooth, unctuous and moorish. It certainly is. Oh, great. A classic. Had it before, we'll have it again. Well, in fact, we'll have it again right now. Right. Oh, hello. I'll show you my Harry the Hornet. Hey! What, Harry? There's Björk as well. Eh? This is my house, by the way. Hello. See? Yeah, anyway, back to me. Haha. Great. Oh, okay. So, Siren Broken Dream, bit of a treat. Let me pop you down, balance the beer on my laptop. It's probably a bad idea, but there we are. Lovely. Where's my glass? Where's my glass? Okay, viewers, if you see where I put my glass, let me know in the comments.
Yes, indeed. Right. Sorry, James. I'm back. Yes.
I just put my glass and I'm having a bit of interaction, or attempted interaction, to see if anyone else spotted where I put my glass down.
Oh, okay. I can't help you with that because I wasn't looking, but
Silent beer number 5, Dave, is Broken Dream.
Hey, well, there you go. See, that's why I don't really get things like boxes like that. I would rather just order a 12-pack of Broken Dream.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be something in that box I don't want to drink or I don't enjoy so much. So I'd rather just get rather than getting 12 beers in that kind of pack, I'd rather just try 12 beers I want to drink, really.
Here we go.
It is good fun.
But pretty rare that I find a beer I don't want to drink.
Well, no, I always tried it. Like I said, I've been ordering IPAs this week because, just checking out the brewery. So this is Wild Horse's Nakota Session IPA. It's a much brighter beer, much brighter orange than the Black Cloak one.
If I'd known you were going to order stuff from Wild Horse, I would have recommended the Statement of Youth, which is probably the best beer I've had since coming up here.
I don't think I saw that on their website. Is that currently available? I don't know.
But if it's not, then that's a shame.
So I got the Pale Ale, and I got Mr. Mills's Circus, the coffee pour.
Yep. I don't know the origins of the name, but I wonder if it says on the can. What's got anything to do with Mill's Mess, which is a juggling pattern?
Okay.
What does it say? Enlighten us, Disco.
Oh no, this on this one.
Oh, I thought you were reading the can. That's what...
No, I'm reading a Nakota, but my eyesight is not good enough in this light to actually read the blah blah blah. So, see the And that's the differences on cans. Actually, I could read. Yeah, the Take It Easy was easy to read because this is green, yellow on green. It's harder to read. So I do like a nice, simple. And to be fair, the can designs are really good on the front. I like that. Just tells you what it is, tells you the brewery. That one needs the ABV on the front. Not that I pay any attention to the ABV. Nice bit of artwork, nice bright colours, nice bit of artwork. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at the Nakota, find out what's... This is a handy thing of doing this on the phone. You can look up on a website on the laptop if my internet was working.
I just seen that this Broken Dream is 6.5%. Bloody hell.
I didn't realise it was over 6, actually, but yeah, doesn't really drink like it, though, does it? That's why it's in a 330 as well.
Mind you, going back to talking about Signature, they've just done over the last summer they produced 3 or 4 hazy IPA types. There's a Sustain, Reverb, something else, and Nightingale. The Nightingale was one that they did where they gave 10% of sales or profits to NHS charities, which was, I don't know, a very, very nice beer. I think it was the Sustain that was 6.8%, and it was so drinkable, and it was in 330 cans, and you could just 2-3 mouthfuls, it was gone, because it was like lemonade. It's boom, gone.
I've fallen off of Siren a little bit. I had a couple of orders from them last year, but I've fallen off of them a little bit, and they've been bringing out a lot of stuff.
But when you go to the tap room and you go to the brewery, Signature, they've got it on draft. Oh, that's that beer I really liked. I'll have a pint of that. Yeah. And you get it down you in 10-15 minutes, and I'll have another one of them. And within an hour, you're 3 pints down, and it's fucked. Yeah.
Right, so I can't remember what I said for Take It Easy, but this one, the Nakota, has got Amarillo, Uconot, and Mosaic.
Yeah, lovely.
So I think it's the Mosaic in that sits less well on my palate. I think I prefer the Take It Easy as comparing the two Session IPAs. I think I prefer that because it's more orangey. That's slightly more towards a kind of grapefruit citrus. It's still a very good Session IPA, to be fair, but I think that's slightly towards that grapefruity end of citrus that doesn't sit well on my palate. I've not yet learned all the different hops and what their kind of variants are. It blows my mind. I just take it on a beer by beer basis. Yeah, I like to play beers off against each other like that and like do a little competition. So when you get 2 Session IPAs or 2 stouts, I like to check out the differences and see which one I prefer. I prefer the Black Cloak.
And obviously I've now moved on to a different realm entirely with this bad boy. So we all know the coffee and chocolate notes, and yeah, I don't need to talk about it. Everyone knows it's a great beer. Oh.
Rasco says it's amazing how beer culture is compared to music.
In that you don't compare bands to each other.
Well, yeah. I think you do.
I know, I think you do. When I used to review bands, I used to say, sounds a bit like, Tracy Chapman meets Kraftwerk or whatever, in order to give some basic to other things.
There's a good one for you. Sarah in Information Corner, as we call it, she will check stuff out for us. Thank you, Sarah. Nakota means friend in native North American. So, cheers, James, Nakota.
Yeah. Up in Lakota, great.
Yeah. We were just saying, probably everybody missed it right at the start there. Friends for 25 years, on and off. Not on and off, but we've always moved out, gone around the world.
That period of about 7 years in the middle, bastard.
Well, that's the thing about friendship. During it's like we always come back over beer. We always meet in London usually, or anywhere else. To be fair, we can meet up for a beer. I met you in bloody Italy for a beer. Remember?
Yeah.
James, I'm coming from Europe. I know you're in Italy. Let's meet up. I'll just get off the train in Brescia.
Yep. Yeah.
That was some weekend. I was hungover. I was hungover to hell when I met you in Brescia. It was a heavy night.
Was it just a night you were with us? How long were you there? The weekend?
It was. I don't know if it was the weekend, but it was like 3 days. I think 3 or 4 days. And
yeah, it's sort of
I was in Germany. I was in Freiburg, staying with a friend, and I got absolutely wrecked on Jägermeister. I don't really remember how I got out of Germany. I just ended up getting a train out of Germany. I left a lot of stuff in Freiburg I never saw again, including a phone. I arrived about 4 o'clock in Brescia, and you said, "Oh, let's go for antipasti, including beer." And I went, "No, I just need to go to sleep, mate. I'm knackered and bollocks."
Is that the trip when you broke into Colditz?
That was the weekend before where I was staying in Colditz Castle in Germany, and I met a TV comedian of some note. And he said he'd flown there on like one of them £1 deals that Ryanair used to do, and I met him in a bar only because I was sitting in the bar just outside of Colditz, and he walked in and went, "Oh, I guess a beer, mate." And I'm like, "Oh, I've heard another English voice," so I kind of ordered in German, my poor German. He didn't really make any effort, and then we got chatting because we knew a few people. We had some close associates, and he said, I'm going to make this video. And he used to make these funny kind of pre-YouTube almost videos. And yeah, we tried to break into Colditz, even though we had a key to the back door to stay in the youth hostel. I've still got that video somewhere. But yeah, that was a good trip. And then I went to Freiburg, and then I met you in Brescia.
Yeah, that was a place. That was a place to live.
I couldn't tell you what I drank in Brescia, but it was good fun.
I remember my Italian girlfriend at the time, which is the reason I was in Croatia, once said to me, James, would you like... Oh, Alex, Rasko's signing off. Cheerio, Rasko. Good night.
Good night, Rasko. Believe enough to lose control. Where there's love, there's always hope. He's had a hard day. He's had it every day as Rasko, working hard.
Yeah. Someone's got to. Yeah, she said to me one day, she said, James, would you like to come to Italian Beer Festival? And I was like, what would you say if I invited you to an English wine festival? And she was like, oh, fuck, man, fuck that. And well, maybe some people should just stick to what they do best,
Well, I don't know. There must be some reason. There's some good Italian beers about. She said, let's check it out.
She said, I think we should go to the Italian Beer Festival because I know the man in charge of roasting the horse meat. I was like, right, I'm in, fine, okay. I like a bit of horse, great, horse burger, why not? And we got there, and there were 2 beers on draft. Count them, 2. A light and a dark, and they were both from Germany.
Well, any 2 beers does not a festival make, and that doesn't make it a festival if they're not from Italy.
There were other beers, plenty of bottled offerings, and whatever, but on draft, there was a light in the dark, and that was it. And a shit ton of horse meat. The thing I most remember about that night is her leaving relatively early and me staying out with all our friends and them taking me home. And I'd nicked a glass stein, 2.5 litre, 5-pint beer stein, which I was cuddling in the car on the way home. I fell asleep. I fell asleep in the car, and when I got back to my place, they couldn't rouse me. And they were crashing at mine anyway. Well, hours, you know. And so they left me in the car. In the passenger seat, seatbelt on, hunched over this glass stein, my ribs crunched over. Because I woke up the next morning in agony because I just crunched my ribs on this glass for hours with my body weight just pressed down on it, just a dead weight crunched onto it. Weeks. It took weeks for my ribs to recover from that night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was that more or less pain than rolling down the hill in Bangor?
Definitely more. Definitely more. The pain from rolling down the hill in Bangor was
mostly financial. It was mostly financial, wasn't it?
Financial and psychological, yeah. All my scars are on the inside.
It's educational. It's all educational.
Good God, yeah. Yeah, we've had some nights, haven't we? We have had some nights.
I do believe so, yeah. It's sort of, they're not the nights you can just, I don't think they're the nights that you can just sort of slip casually into conversation. They all kind of like have to have some relevance. Like, they all sort of bounce off each other, and they have to come recollecting back slowly as well. Yeah, no, visiting you. I mean, Rasco made the point earlier, we only ever visited you 4 times, I think, in Bangor. And it was the late 90s, and the 90s was a bit of a haze for me, but it was good times. It was good times. I mean, I said this to Rasco the other week.
I don't know if Bangor could have coped with you more than 4 times.
No. I think it might have been 5, because I think I came one time when it wasn't your birthday, because I was driving down. I'd been to Blackpool, and I popped in to see you for a couple of days, and I went down to Plymouth to see the Tuesday game, because we played in Blackpool. That was just like a random, like, it was like March or something. No, it wasn't. Can't remember March, because I would have been with you in March. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think it was 5 times, but I mean, I always tell the story of just like, I can't remember which year it was, but me and Rasco rocked off the train and met you halfway up the hill dressed in a gorilla suit, because it's some kind of like, and then we made you go to Morrison's to buy bananas in a gorilla suit.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was my 3rd year.
Was it? I thought that was like the 1st or 2nd one, I don't know.
No, that was the 3rd year. My 3rd year, anyway.
Right, yeah.
So I was, student union president, and it was a charity. It was St David's Day, and it was a charity football match or something. And myself and one of the other student union bods had got roped into being mascots.
Oh, okay. I never know why. I don't ever remember why it was a gorilla suit, to be honest. I thought it was just like some kind of student thing. But yeah, I suppose it was.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, I can't remember exact details. I think it was a thing for the Welsh Union, and so I didn't have much of a say in whether or not I should do it. I just had to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you doing a sponsored bungee jump up by the pier as well, for no apparent reason.
I did 10 of them.
Not at the same time.
No, I did 2. We did, because I organised them, and we did 5. Did them each year for 5 years running. and I did 2 each time.
Bless you, bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you for trying. I was quite happy watching it. That was enough. That was
great.
enough. Yeah.
Only time I've ever bungeed, and I'll do it again. Now, it could probably do me the world of good. Straighten my back out.
You wouldn't catch me doing anything so bloody stupid, to be honest.
We're not 20 anymore.
No, but I still prefer my speed and thrills on the ground rather than up in the air. It's like...
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Fun times. Tablet Spa car park.
Well, we always say that. I don't know. We've lived like even more recently, like meeting up at beer festivals and stuff like that, and it's always been sort of very hazy, very hazy. And if we didn't start doing videos and stuff, we'd forget like where we'd been and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's why Rasco kept calling you Jim the CameraMan, because you kept just recording us, me and Rasco, doing daft videos after drinking beer.
Yeah, I'm not actually a cameraman.
No.
That's the only thing I worry about.
I put that today to advertise it, and I kept spelling it camera as in campaign for real ale, and I realised that would give entirely different connotations, like you're in charge of camera or something.
I do have a beard and wooded jumper.
Yeah, and you do like real ale, so
yeah. And I have been a member of the camera for a long time.
I'm only a member of camera because in July I keep forgetting to cancel the direct debit and it doesn't come through.
I think 24 years I've been a member of camera for now.
Bless you. Fuck, bloody hell, that's some dedication and service. I think only, like I said, in the last 5 or 6 years, because I keep forgetting to cancel the direct debit.
No, I think I joined my 18th birthday or something like that. And so...
Well, you're qualified to talk about the changes in real ale and craft beer then, really, aren't you?
Oh, God. There's... I was saying earlier about, don't want to get too much into beer nerd territory. And people have destroyed wine already, right? The pretentious hipster dickheads. You can't just drink wine and enjoy wine, right? Because it's a multi-billion-pound industry of nuance.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about beer going the same way. Right. I was in, I don't know, a bar in Shoreditch, which would be about right for this sort of anecdote. And an American mate of mine was visiting. We were in this bar, and one of his mates was there. And he was a proper full-on, Northeast Coast American liberal intellectual type. And we're having a nice beer, and it was a nice beer. I can't remember what it was. It was a nice beer. And he was like, yeah, but you've not had an IPA until you've had this, I don't know, this brewery from Norway. It's a Norwegian thing. I was like, don't give me all this shit. Just enjoy the beer that's in front of you. Don't overthink it too much. Don't ruin beer.
That's always my answer when I see people put on Twitter and stuff like that. I don't always reply, but it's like, what's the best beer? It's like, well, the best beer is the one you've got in front of you. Even if it's shit, just go to the next beer and it'll be the best beer. It's like there's no. I mean, I know we did that thing earlier about talking about the Brewery World Cup.
Yeah,
and it makes no sense because there's so many connotations and permutations to it. And it's the same with what's the best beer. Just enjoy the beer, man. Just enjoy it. Just have whatever beer you want. But we still get involved in that what's the best beer thing because it's kind of fun.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, well, we try not to take beer too seriously, but sometimes, you know, some beers merit a bit of seriousness, and some beers merit a bit of fun. You know.
Yeah, and it's an industry we care about, and so it's worth caring about things. But yeah, enjoy
Well,
beer.
I think the archetypal answer to that one last week, right? I had this beer. You can't quite see it. And it was bright green, so it's from Wild Hag, and it was their St Patrick's Day
I
beer.
saw the
And it was
photo of
bright
it.
green, and it was an ice cream pale ale. And actually, I thought it was quite nice. And I put it up, and a lot of people, including Rob from Hopsy, eminent beer reviewer, said it was shit. And I'm like, well, yeah, it wasn't like, but then another guy we followed, Ballman, up in Carlisle, and he was like, all right, it's not the best beer in the world, but it's a lot of fun, and it made me laugh. And I'm like, I agree with that. That's absolutely my perspective. It's like, well, I quite enjoyed it, and mostly because it was bright green and it tasted of mint, but a really good mint, like a mint ice cream, not like toothpaste or disinfectant. And I quite enjoyed it. I had 2 cans. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Well, the only reason I had 2 cans is because I'd done one on a live stream, and then I did the Instagram post, just for showing it being properly green. So I'm like, all right, it's a bit of fun, it's a bit of nonsense, there's a little bit of hype, but I'm all up for that, you know. I'm all up for that. It's all good fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah. But people who take sex seriously. Like I said, it's a bit of fun. might not be the best in the world, but it's a bit of fun. Something to do.
It makes you laugh, and it makes you like think about beer. Then yeah, it's all right. It's all good, you know. Did you see that one the other week? The one with Goose Island, the Cadbury's cream egg beer.
Oh God. Look, yeah, and it sold out in like 10 minutes or something.
30 seconds, literally 30 seconds. I did try. See, this is an interesting thing, because I would say you're a beer enthusiast, right? You love beer, right? You like trying beer, but you're not like. I mean, I don't like the word beer reviewer, but we do. Me and Rasco review beer. We get beer to review it, so we have a point of view. We have an enthusiasm for it. But so we're kind of in that kind of bubble. You're slightly outside of the bubble, but still aware of all the kind of different beers, and you're a little bit removed in a way, because you're not actually posting on Instagram and Twitter, but you must have an opinion of like hype beers. So things like a Cadbury's cream egg beer, like what did you perceive? You must have seen the posts and stuff like that of it, by the sound of it. What did you make of that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah, it's publicity hypes, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Publicity hype for a brewery, that you get some clicks, you get some eyeballs, you get some marketing attention. It's great. It's not done for the purposes of it being a great beer or not. It's done to generate some hype, and that's it. That's fine. There's it's cheaper than a marketing budget. You know,
so you're more from a point of view of an enthusiast and a pure consumer. Would you have ever gone for a beer like that and tried to get a beer like that, or was you just not? You're not in for the hype.
If it had been on at a bar when I was in a pub, I'd give it a go. I'd have half of that. Why not?
It's it's a bit like.
Would I join a waiting list for a website at 9 a.m. to try and click to try and get onto it? No.
Yeah.
No,
I did. I was on there at 11 o'clock. I was on there at 10:59, and by 11 o'clock and 30 seconds, I had 2 in the bag. I had 2 in the basket, and I went to pay, and it was like, oh, it's sold out. Like, well, how can it be sold out in 30 seconds? And the following day, the following week, they released a load more, and I'm like, I'm just not going to bother. I'd seen a few people who got the first lot, and they said it was average, so I'm not going to bother. Can't be honest. You know?
Yeah. I'm all up for novelty. I'm not against novelty for its own sake. And there's Exhale, Exhale Brewery, another awesome stove brewery. Cranky, an iron brew sour.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's spectacular. It's a great beer. It's not a novelty beer. It's a sour, and it's full of all those, and it's ridiculously sweet. It's like one of those cheap sweets you used to get on the front of the Beano in the 80s.
I think when they put it out, it was fairly novelty just because it was Iron Brew, but there's a couple of other breweries that have got Iron Brew sours as well.
Yeah.
But I did buy the XL one, not because it was a novelty, just because I wanted to try it, but I didn't buy it straight off. I thought it was quite good. It was quite a good approximation of Iron Brew, but the ingredients were Iron Brew essence. I'm like, well, what is that? Is it like, what does that mean? Have you dried some cans of Iron Brew and
Boiled down. They got some girders.
It
They got some girders. That's what they've done.
Yeah, made some girders. Yeah. I mean, I actually bought 2 cans. I got them from Clapton Craft on just a random order because I wanted some other stuff, and I banged them on. I actually gave the second can away to a friend of ours, like in Scouts, who actually he loves sours. So I gave him a bunch of sours, and I gave him that one as well. And he said it was brilliant, mental, and he's really pleased. I would try it again, and again, I've got to go to XAL's tap room as well.
They're only 20 quid. Bugger! I just remembered. When they were setting up the tap room, they were doing a crowdfunder.
Oh yeah.
Saying if you pledge so much, or if you buy so much beer in advance, you get a 20 quid beer voucher or 50 quid beer voucher or whatever. Yeah, right. I never ended up claiming it.
Right.
I did go in. I think I went in once. Once it was absolutely rammed, and I was with my neighbours and the kids. And so on. And I think the next one also had the kids. But either way, it was just a case of just popping in. It didn't have time to. And I mean, the first time it was, oh, by the way, are you still doing the crowdfunder vouchers? Oh yeah, we've got them in the back, but we're a bit busy. Can you hang on 5-10 minutes? It's like that. No, actually, we can't. We've got to go. So I missed out then. Yeah. Yeah. Damn it. Oh well.
Maybe I'll try and claim it for you when I go to the tap room.
Sorry?
Maybe I'll try and claim it for you when I actually go to the tap room later this year.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You and I looking close enough alike. Good path for me, yeah. Yeah, Signature also, they did at the middle of lockdown, they had a thing of buying tickets to piss up in a brewery.
Yeah, I keep getting the emails for that because they keep putting it back and back.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I bought 2 tickets at 30 quid a head.
Ironically, they still haven't been able to organise a piss up in a brewery, but not because of their inability to organise a piss up in a brewery. They're just not allowed to have a piss up in a brewery.
Exactly. So when it comes off,
yeah, then, we want to go.
I might come back to London for it, especially if it is free bar.
Yeah. Hey, Raggy has popped in. Good to see you, sir. It's a bit late for you, but hopefully you're still drinking. If you've got a beer on, let us know what you're drinking. Thanks for popping in, saying hello. Raggy's another beer reviewer. Got his own. He does all his beer reviews live on YouTube. It's always love. If I don't see them live, I always pop in afterwards as well. Really nice guy. Up in Nottingham. So he drinks a lot of craft, but he also drinks a lot of real ales from like Lenton Lane and a lot of like real ale breweries up in Nottingham area as well. So it's always good to see him pop in.
Great.
So we've been going 2 hours now. These things, I'm always surprised how quickly these things go, James. Like you're suddenly 2 hours, 4 beers in.
Yeah. In fact, I think Ray's is gone again now.
Yeah. I've just seen the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I quite want to try that wild horse. Even if there's no one else, even if we're not broadcasting to anyone else.
No, that's fine. It's not really about. Well, we're always pleased that anybody bothers to look in. To be fair, and we love everybody who looks in, especially if you're looking after the event and if you watch the whole thing. We never mean to go 2 hours like me and Rasco, but it's always like it just ends up like that. And I think you and me on a catch up was always going to be a lengthy one because we always have a lot to talk about. It's just how we do. But well, if you want to go for another one, I think we can manage that. We've got 4 hours on Instagram. You're allowed 4 hours. It used to be an hour, but they extended it, so we've got 4 hours. We've got another 2 hours to go. I don't think we've ever gone that long, but I don't think we need to. But do you want to try a Devil's Appendix?
Yeah, I do quite fancy trying it. Have I finished? I finished the can. Hang on, but where's my Broken Dream can? Oh.
The can? Yeah. You've lost the can?
I lost the can. It's empty. That's all right. I could kick it over. That's all right.
You poured it all into the damn glass.
I had to pour it all into the damn glass. I was checking cases and left. Right. Okay. I'm going to back in a minute. I'm going to go and get this on the beer. I might even have a very quick wee. So talk about yourself.
Well, I went for one and you covered for me, so it's only fair I cover for you as well. So. Again, I always like Rasco does this to me. He wanders off and has to go for like we always do that when we do the live stream. So I see there's 2 people still watching. Thank you if you are still watching. Thank you if you have watched, and thank you if you're watching after the event. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Rasco on tonight because I thought we could do like a 3-person stream, but Rasco was working late. Didn't get a chance to get on at the start, so I called. I've just noticed a big smiley face on Jim's sofa. That's kind of fun. Yeah, so Jim stepped in. He's been a big fan of the show for a long time. He helped us set up the stream. He helped us. He's produced a couple of videos. He's done some artwork for us. He's a writer by trade, so he knows his words. So it's really pleasing to get him on tonight. And really pleased that the North Wales internet system is working. So hopefully we can maybe get on again. Maybe we'll do a 3-person stream. Might even try it on StreamYard over on YouTube because I've been experimenting with that recently. It's been kind of fun. A lot of people have popped in, had a few beers, live beer reviews. I kind of prefer that. I say Raggy does that as well. I kind of prefer that because you don't have to sit and produce videos and do edits and put cards in, and it's just straight up, no messing, beer reviews. As you can see, I've got quite a few beers on already, and I've got quite a few beers in the stash, so I've got loads of stuff to get through. At the moment tonight, I'm drinking beers from North Wales, and very pleased. Thank you very much to Black Cloak Brewery. If you can check them out, they got national delivery. They got them to me on Parcel Force the following day. I guess that's a national thing. Wildcard got their beers to me the following day on DHL, so I guess that's a national thing. Excellent rates on delivery, excellent beers. Had a couple of really good session parallels, a nice citrusy flavour, very drinkable, very smashable IPAs. We're not associated with them at all. We just, because James recommended them to us. It's his local brewery, so I got some in, and I was very pleased to get them in following day, and I've really enjoyed them so far. I've got a few others to review during the week, so that's what I'll do. James, you ready for the big finish?
I am. Speaking of big finish, I just reminded I saw on the kitchen counter there as I came past a little packet of fiber supplement pills, which I've been having recently for massive hemorrhoids. But
no, you got them for Giles.
Farmer Giles, Emma Freud.
Is that too much sitting around?
So I've been, I have, but it's neither here nor there. So I've been upping my fibre content generally to make things all a bit easier. Easy
Oh, I
passage.
don't use Weetabix.
But yeah, bran flakes every day, mate. Bran flakes and some raisins. Got some prunes on the go. Anyway, you'll like this because the other day, Ada came past for you and saw them on the kitchen counter. Saw this fibre supplement on the. Daddy, are these your bum vitamins?
Well, having met your daughter, she doesn't mince her words, to be fair, at any stage. So fair play to me. Tell it like it is.
Yeah. It's your bum vitamins. Yeah, I should have mentioned that when there were more people watching.
Well, if people watch that back, that would be a fun thing. So we're both now on the devil's appendix. Talking of internal organs and stuff.
Yeah, that is what made me think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
7.4% to finish. So
I just noticed that after I opened it. Oh, it pours like treacle. Look at that.
I don't know. I don't know how you feel about ABVs. Like ABVs never really make that much difference to me. I always say it doesn't make a lot of difference, but it obviously does.
It doesn't make a difference how many I drink. It just makes a difference as to how pissed I get.
Yeah, but I think it also depends on the evening you're having. Like I could have one like 10% beer and not feel that wasted. I've done a real knobhead pour there. Look, that's how's your pour? Because that's quite a lively beer. Depends on the glass. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I didn't think
it is a lovely looking head. If I'd had like slightly less of it, but that's a really tightly packed, nice, creamy kind of solid looking head. I'm looking forward to this. Oh, let me cleanse. I need a bit of water. Because that was quite a citrusy beer, that Session IPA from Wild Horse. I think I prefer the Black Cloak.
I think I'm be following a little bit like for like almost. I think.
Yeah, very similar, but slightly different citrus vibes going on. But
I'm going to be following like for like from the Broken Dream to this bad boy.
Oh, you are? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I've got a blocked up nose now because the eating's come on, but I can't smell too much. What are you getting on the nose?
Oh, I'm getting coffee and chocolate, the sort of things you'd expect.
Good. It's not prominent enough for me, but then I've got very bad sinuses. So.
Oh, hello.
Oh, that's big on the coffee.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's solid, isn't it? That's absolutely solid. Export Stout. That's a great finish. That's an absolutely great finish tonight.
Fantastic colour too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just absorbs like. Holding up, I can't see anything.
I'm not getting a lot of chocolate. I'm getting more coffee, but I think it's the bitterness coming through from the IPA. But that's a great follow-on beer, a great finish, good Export Stout. That's just really good example of Export Stout. Look how that head stays on it. That's nice.
Nice lacing.
Yep. I'm not even going to say I'm surprised. I'm just really pleased that you've pointed out a couple of breweries to me that I haven't really known about until I started following them, and I've got some really good beers, and they've got national delivery, and I'm really pleased I've got some good beers and got some good breweries. I'm really looking forward to coming and visiting you when we get the chance.
This means you have to come and visit.
You know, well, everywhere you've gone about the world, apart from the West Bank, I've followed, and I always come and you always check out the beer scene. And I've always tried to. North Wales. I'm a big fan of North Wales. Having been to visit you in Bangor in the first place before craft beer. So
Oh yeah,
me
yeah.
and Mass definitely looking forward to popping up to Conway and embracing the North Wales beer scene and seeing what it is. Looking at a little trip to London now.
I'm looking forward to it.
My only other question for you: how far away from Llanfairpwll Llyngyll from Dorset Llantysilio Gogok are you? That's not bad. Beers.
That is really good.
I still don't know if that's correct, but it's what I say anyway.
I'm not sure quite what you mean.
I mean, Llanfairpwll Llyngyll from Dorset Llantysilio Gogok. And if we're going to do a quick beer quiz, my question for you, as a now North Wales resident, how many letters in the name of the small Welsh village Llanfairpwll Llyngyll from Dorset Llantysilio Gogok? Oh, I fucked up the Gogok there.
Yeah.
That's not the one I normally fuck up. I normally fuck up the first bit.
Let me think.
It's not something you can't work out, and unless you can spell it, which I can.
Because there's no Z and there's no Q and there's no U, so I reckon there's 23 letters in.
No, not individual letters. How many letters in total? You know. That's a very good answer. I'd not actually considered before. So fair play.
See?
You clever bastard.
Down there for dancing. Yeah.
Clever bastard. I say this because I use this in early doors. One of the pub quizzes we do. We'd been doing a pub quiz on a Tuesday night of people who used to be up at Castle. So I used it as a pub question. I can't actually remember the number. I think it's about 58.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah, but I'm just pleased I can. I don't know. I remember trying to pronounce it in a kebab shop in Bangor once, and the girl I was trying to impress completely blew me out of the water with actually pronouncing it properly. But that's how I pronounce it.
Fair effort.
I've never actually been. I've been through the station, but I've never actually been to the village. So.
PG. It's quite a nice sort of middle class village. And Anglesey as a Volvo showroom and a sort of gastro pub.
Well, next time I come up your way, I've got to pop in. I've got to get the train up. I want to buy a ticket. I want to buy a ticket that just says "Return to Llanfairpwll Llyngyll from Dorset Llantysilio Gogok."
Yeah, I hate to inform you. It will probably just say Llanfairpwll PG. Although, here's the thing. There's another Llanfair. I think it's called Llanfair LT. It's also similarly long.
Yeah.
Llanfair LT. And it's about 10 miles directly south of where we are now.
Yeah.
And apparently, so I got contacted, or Claire got contacted, a little while ago.
Super Fred, hello. I'll come back to Super Fred. Sorry, carry on with that.
No,
Super Fred.
Because my anecdote is long-winded and going nowhere.
Okay, so Super Fred is a barman at Rasco, one of Rasco's local bars, whose name that has completely bounced up. They're next door to Anspach and Omde. And so Rasco's met Super Fred. I've not yet met Super Fred, but to be fair, Super Fred always bounces in and says hello. So yeah, he's probably wondering why the fuck Rasco's not on, but I think he's gone now. So carry on with your anecdote because people watching later will. Well, and I will try to remember the brewery, and I apologise to the brewery who are good supporters of us. Carry on, James.
The short version of the story is that one of my ancestors from the West London Brownsville clan, you've heard myself about them being taxi merchants and whatnot, handsome stable owners in Portobello Road. One of that clan moved up to Manchester way back when, and then met a Welsh girl and got married and came over to live in a village about 10 miles directly south of where we are now. And there were Brownsels in North Wales from the late 1800s through until about 5 years ago. No, 2004, I think, was when the last of that branch of the family died out in Colchester. So historians of the future are going to be confused as fuck when they're looking at the census, because there's a whole bunch of Brownsels in North Wales in a 2001 census, including me. And
if you're there for the next one as well.
And then there's none in 2011. And then there's me and our family here in 2021. But yeah, we reckon there is a direct connection as well. I think we worked out the direct connection, so yeah.
Yeah, well, the conversation we had with that when we was in Bangor.
Hey, what, sorry?
The conversation we had about that with your brother when we was in Bangor.
No, not that. It's not how I like it.
I'm going to say that loud down. The brewery I was just thinking of when I was talking about Superfred, I do apologise. All I could think of was Signature Brew, because we've been chatting earlier. But the brewery that Superfred worked for was Signal Brew. Brewery. You can see my confusion 4 beers in. That's fair.
Yeah. This is great, isn't it? This coffee stout.
It's a really easygoing, big stuff. For 7.4% stout, it's proper smooth, but it's got that kind of coffee bitter edge to it.
It's not heavy.
It's not heavy. No, it's good mouthfeel. It's really. Roasty Toasty is a big sort of descriptor going about at the moment. It is really nice roastiness, like kind of toasty coffee. Yeah, solid, absolutely solid.
It's the sort of thing I think if you could do a session on this if you had started at sort of after work time, 4:30, 4 or 5, and you weren't going to have dinner. As long as you can have 3 pints of this and find yourself quite pissed by about 7 o'clock in the evening, and then think, you know what, I'm going to carry on.
Yeah.
You might be on the floor by 9 o'clock, but you know.
I'd want to balance. If I did a session, I'd want to balance it with a bit more chocolate. I want a chocolatey stout as well.
Have a cream egg.
Yeah, balance it.
There's your dinner.
It's fairly coffee, but it's funny because the other two is the coffee porters on, aren't they, I think. So it'd be interesting to see how they bounce out against that. But there's less chocolate on this one, but more coffee. But it's absolutely solid, smooth stout. Really good.
The thing with a lot of these big strong stouts is that you'd have a pint and you're done. You're not going to have any more. Well, actually, I think I could drink this for a while.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because you get that. I do. After 2 or 3, we'll get that kind of thick head thing and think I'm a bit sleepy and dozy now. I'm off. But yeah, I think you can have 2 or 3 of those. Absolutely solid.
Most of the bar at Bangor, O'Shea's, Irish bar, believe it or not. How about that? Yeah, we used to drop into about 5 o'clock, and it's a Guinness pub, and you'd have 3 pints Guinness, and that would be the point, the threshold. The 3 pint Guinness threshold would be a case of, right, am I going home to bed, or has the evening just begun and we're now onto a proper session?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing we miss out on with this whole drinking at home thing. It's like how far do you go? Because when I drink at home, I'm like, if I drink at home, it's my last one, and I'll be going to bed. But now it's like you've got to do a whole session at home.
Well, yeah, exactly. Hello, Wookie.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for popping in. What are you drinking? Are you still drinking? If you are, we're drinking a good Export Stout.
Session ale all the way.
Hey, well, what is a session ale? You know, we were just saying this might be a session Export Stout at 7.4%.
Because it does go down very easily.
Yeah, I mean, it is midnight. Oh, it's midnight. We've been going for 2.5 hours, James.
Yeah, no bastards watching this on replay.
No, this is officially the longest live stream we've ever done as Rasco and Disco. And as Rasco said the other week, you are very much the and in Rasco and Disco.
We should have put that up the top of the intros, actually, shouldn't we?
I don't know if it's offensive or not, but I mean, it's good to slip everybody in somewhere, really. You know?
Hey.
Well, you have been in the background for 2 years, sort of like we've called you Jim the CameraMan, we've called you everything else, and you've supported us, and you've done the job.
Which way home? 4% Wookie Ale. That sounds nice.
That's a great name for a beer. Which way home? Nobody has to worry about which way home anymore. But
excuse me.
Is that as in Wookie Hole?
Yeah.
As in, like Somerset.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Down there. Because you got the witches in the yeah. Well, you know the story. You've been on Scout
Yeah,
Camp.
I've been with them. Yeah.
You're there. Great part of the board. Wookie Hole.
Cheers, Wookie Hole.
Yeah. Cheers. Nothing bad could happen down there.
No, I'd say thanks for popping in, as I always say to everybody. I was
thinking, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the witch in the caves has the projection of the shadow is the witch on the thing with the stalagmites and stalactites, and you got the witch on the wall.
Yeah. Well. Jeez. Yeah, no, well, stalactites and stalagmites, that reminds me of one of my favourite Gary Delaney jokes, but I don't know if I should say that here.
Was it you and me, mate? I wouldn't worry too much.
He said his joke was in the cave with the stalactites and the stalagmites, and the tour guide asked me not to crack one off, and she wasn't even that attractive. Still managed.
Hey. Very good.
I haven't even got onto the jokes yet. I've got so many dodgy dad jokes.
Well, the whole thing about different stalagmites and stalactites, stalagmites go up, tights go down.
Something like that, yeah.
And I thought that was quite an innocent thing. And I learned that at a very young age. I don't know where from. I remember saying that in front of my mum, and she got most upset.
I'm assuming you learned it from your dad. I can see your dad saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good chance of that.
Then Raza.
Oh, no. Hey, cheers, Dad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mentioned earlier on. Hello, Arthur's Point Chestnut Ale, also at 4%. Nice. We like the sound of that.
Ale. Yeah, nice nutty ale.
Yeah,
superb. We should be checking that out, by the way.
Yeah, send a couple of bottles of that our way, and we'll have a chat about it. Fantastic.
I'll still absolutely check that out. I'll absolutely check. Well, I mean, because like we do these dodgy jokes, it's like a dad joke. You know when a dad joke becomes a dad joke.
Sorry?
You know when a dad joke becomes a dad joke.
Go on.
It's when it becomes apparent.
Oh.
Like I haven't got any kids, but I still tell dad jokes. Apparently, that's a faux pas.
Yeah, I used to be quite funny until I became a father. You know? I think it's just on like a relatively serious level. I think it's because you suddenly go from having all your mates in the pub as your audience,
Yeah.
right, to
There's a whole difference. There's a whole difference between
a 2-year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, early on I was talking about Signature's pilot kit that they've got 160 litre little kit.
Oh yeah.
Which is fantastic because we were brewing with a 40 litre kit when we were selling Garage à Trois beers. When we were selling them to or through Rudy's Dirty Vegan Diner in Camden.
Yeah, your mango beer.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Mango milkshake IPA.
I never got into that. I never got a chance to get up to Camden and try a Rudy's.
I had half of one bottle. Ben and I shared a bottle.
That's what I can't understand. You brewed beer and you can't even get to try your own brewed beer.
We tried it and it was amazing, and we shipped it. Figuring that the next batch we'd take a few off, and the next batch just went horribly wrong. But we had like 5 batches went off them, and they outsold Brewdog. Fuck you guys. Outsold Brewdog. It was their biggest selling beer because it was amazing. Anyway, again we had what was impressive about it. It was a milkshake IPA that was vegan, right? So no lactose. And so to get that thick mouthfeel, we mashed at a higher temperature. We used loads of oats, mashed at a higher temperature, and we used maltodextrin. And that combined gave this really sort of thick mouthfeel, really creaminess. It was a fucking great beer. Anyway, and we were doing that with a 40 litre kit, and we did one batch on a 160 litre kit. And so, yes, Camden General is lovely, but so we were selling through a cafe in Camden, a vegan cafe in Camden named Rudy's Dirty Vegan Diner. So yeah, should you happen to ever be in Camden, go and check them out. They sell great beer, and also ours. Well, they did. But try and regain my train of thought. Yes. So the signature 160 litre kit was one we really wanted to try out. And when I saw that, or Ben, I saw it on Facebook that they announced they got it. And then Ben, one of the other brewers, and I were at Signature that weekend, and we spotted it through the big FVs. Oh, fucking dude! Look at that! I was sort of peering through, looking at it. Oh, that's cute. Ah, Rookie, I was also vegan. Nice. I'm not vegan for what it's worth, but it's good to be included.
Wait, you are if you're only eating vegan food.
Oh yeah, but I don't only eat vegan food.
No, exactly. But you know what us non-vegans call vegan food?
Food?
Food, because we can still fucking eat it or drink it sense of beer. You know what I mean? I'm perfectly capable of making and eating and enjoying a vegan meal.
Yeah.
Or a vegan beer for the same. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to be vegan just to enjoy a vegan meal because it's just food.
Yeah.
But it is also a bonus when breweries bring out a vegan beer because it opens up your market, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I'm between vegan beer and vegan food, right?
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're in a group of friends and you're going out for a night, who chooses where you're going to eat? The vegan does, right?
Arguably.
Well, no, because they're not going to say if you've got 6 mates going out, you're going to make sure that you go somewhere that has decent vegan food. If one person's a vegan, you've got to go to a place that sells vegan food.
Yeah.
So essentially, like the power of like the vegan consumer is massive at the moment. Anyway, I guess that's neither here nor there. Also, I don't put fish guts in my beer, but no, I don't care that much. I was getting to a point. Oh yeah. So we saw this pilot kit, 160-liter kit, hidden behind the other vessels at Signature. And I was saying to my mate Ben, I was like, that is what we need as a little brewing company. That would do us right. We would be sorted with a kit like that. The amount that we produce, that would be perfect for us. We could upscale just slightly, and that'd be great for supplying one or two cafes.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect. How much do you reckon that would cost? And he said, I don't know, a couple of grand. Yeah, a few grand. It's an SS Brewtech kit. And of course, it's a whole thing in one. It's not.
North Wales, isn't it? It's letting you down.
Yeah, it was a bit there. Sorry, mate.
It might have been mine. I don't know. You know.
So it's one kit produced by SS Brewtech. It's not little bits cobbled together here or there. It's a thing that's been put together. Here we are. Microbrew on the table.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay. I should maybe a few grand at least.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of a shame because I haven't exactly got a few grand lying around. Andrew Lieber has joined. Hello, Andrew.
Hey.
My old mate Andrew. Andrew's over at Harvard.
Superb.
Well, you've
James, can you cover for 2 minutes? Can you carry on for 2 minutes with the brew kit story?
Can I talk exclusively to my mate Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, on a one-way thing. So far this evening, we've been chewing the fat and drinking beers. We have discussed the latest beer news. We've discussed vaccine passports in pubs in the UK. We've been talking about the beers we've been drinking. We're on to, I think, beer number 5, pint number 5 at the moment. I'm not going to bother counting. But we've had some great beers. You're very welcome to join. It's a bit of a shame that we had. I think we were up to 9 viewers at one point, and now it's me and you. Even the other host can't be here. Currently drinking. Oh, this Wild Horses Devil's Appendix is 7.4% and is quashable. quaffable, definitely quaffable. Even for a strong beer, it goes down easy. Old Man Tom from Maine. Hello, I like the sound of that. Yeah, Maine is down to Bangor, and Bangor is the name of the town I went to university in North Wales, just down the road. Your link.
Thank you. What a great cover. I could hear half of you, to be fair. Because it's only an so.
We have got to come to Vermont and have a beer drinking expedition to Vermont.
We've got a viewer in Vermont, America.
Highest breweries per capita. There we are.
Superb.
Where are you currently, Leaves?
I'm still getting requests to join, but I can't. I don't know. Instagram will only let me have one person, so I don't know if that's still Rasco's request coming through or not. I don't know.
Winhill VT. That is Vermont, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Vermont. I've only got this amount of beer left, James, because it's gone down really well, really smooth. This Export Stout is amazing. Really very good. I'm looking forward to be fair, I had a big shout out to both Black Cloak and Wild Horse who followed us this week, just because we've been putting this through because you tagged us in. So I hope both Wild Horse and Black Cloak, maybe if they watch this back, I know they was in the stream earlier. I hope they enjoy this love for their breweries. We always say, me and Rascal always say about support local, and now we're supporting local to you, James, in North Wales. It's amazing. It's really good to find out new breweries like this. It's really, really good, especially when they're bringing really good beer, and we can genuinely say we really enjoyed the beer. Really enjoyed the beer.
So maybe what you should do. So Andrew Lieber says, "Nice wall of beer behind you." Maybe what you should do is to have more Instagram live rooms with special guests as a third, and get them to tell you about their local breweries. Obviously, you get in touch with them first and find out what they are, and do some pre-orders, and you can do a joint tasting of local brews from.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do is explore this Instagram rooms, but we also need to explore the whole YouTube, because we're on StreamYard on YouTube, and I've seen Harry, who was in before, and Ken, who was in before. They normally do a Friday. They've had a weekend off this weekend, but we need to get on the YouTube and do the whole StreamYard on YouTube, where we can get more than we can get 9 people on StreamYard. But me and Rasco kind of like this 10:30 on a Saturday slot. So we've got to look into that YouTube slot. And I mean, if we always invite you, James, if you can come back on and we can do a whole 4-person stream on Instagram, you'd be more than welcome to come back and try a few more beers and just enjoy. If we do a Siren one as well, if you've got Siren there, if I can get some more wild card, we'll do a wild card one. I think that'd be a great. Maybe we don't go for 3 hours like we have now, but we do a little quick tasting that people can watch back and enjoy. Something like that, If you could do a Saturday night, then Saturday night sounds like a good. We don't know. I've been discussing this with Rasco. What's going to happen next month when people do go back to pubs? I don't know what you think, because we've seen this big involvement in live streaming, and we've been behind the curve. We should have done this in July when we first started. But what do you think will happen in a couple of months' time when people start going back to pubs? Will there still be a market for a live stream? beer thing on a Saturday night or a Friday night, because that's what we do. It's weekend drinking, isn't it?
In fairness, I think the market will diminish somewhat when people have better things. When people can go to the pub themselves and talk to each other about their beers rather than watching us talk about our beers. Yeah, Andrew, you're not wrong. In fact, I think you may have. Oh yeah, again, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You did come up. So Andrew Lima visited me in Walthamstow and the family a little while ago.
Yeah.
And we did go to Wildcard. Yeah, you're right. You're right, we did. I don't remember if it was morning or afternoon, day or night. And yes, we could always stream from a pub or brewery.
That's what'll happen. I mean, I can, because I'm on mobile data, so I'm not restricted to just Wi-Fi. So I can. I have a massive amount of mobile data, so I should be okay as long as I don't use too much. And depending on what the pub is, you have Wi-Fi as well. So I think there's a definite possibility of like Rasco streaming from his pub in Croydon and me streaming either from here or from a pub in this area too. And also, if we do a joint one.
Say good night, Andrew. You're off again.
Thanks for popping in. Good stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the biz. Enjoy the biz. So yeah, there is possibility that we could still stream, even if you're in North Wales, James, and me and Vasco are in London. We could still do that joint kind of stream thing.
I thought it started off doing as videos, isn't it? Yeah, you have Cats with the Brewers.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not a bad show.
So like you could stream from Blackcoat, or we could stream from we could do something in the afternoon. If me and Vasco are up at Perivale, up the road here for me, and you're in North Wales, we could still do that live stream. We could connect breweries together. We could do that, comparing beers that we're drinking. If it's possible, it's got to be worth a go,
Yeah. I feel like a dick, but yeah, we could do.
All on the internet now. You've got to stop worrying about. We did our dickishness before the internet was a thing, so we're lucky. But now we're just talking about beer. So
yeah, we'll work it out. It'll be fine.
We'll see what happens. Basically, we'll see what happens.
Oh man, I'll go for another of these. But I'm not going to. I'm going to go to bed.
I could very easily. I could go on to the other one, the coffee one from Wild Horse. Listen, this is. I've got to say thank you to you, James, for introducing me to the North Wales beer scene that I was aware of, because you've talked about it before, but actually being able to get a bunch of beers from North Wales to London literally overnight just to try it and have a drink. It's been really, really good. I really enjoyed finding out. I've still got some to do, so I'll check them out during the week. Post about them.
North Wales is not the end of the. It's not the farthest reaches of the world. It's not.
Well, I said that, having been aware of.
But for other people who might be watching, it's North Wales is for everyone.
It's a part of the world I've been to. You've introduced me to already beforehand. I say I've been at university in Bangor. It's a part of the world I want to get back to. Really do. So
I'm looking forward to
it. Man. Yeah. I'm gonna tag all the breweries, because we always tag all the breweries that we've been drinking. And like I say, Black Cloak and Wild Horse have been following us this week. So I hope if they watch all this, it's like now a 3-hour epic that we've been doing. So if they watch the rest of it, they will know how much we're really, really enjoyed their beers. All 3 beers I've had tonight have been spot on, have been quality. Really enjoyed it. So
Barry Malone has just begun watching.
Barry Malone?
Barry Malone is a real journalist.
Right,
Barry. Cheers, lad. We're getting towards the end now, mate. But cheers nonetheless.
Super. Thanks for looking in. I have to say, James, I I mean, we are a little bit jealous of your following on social media. You are a blue tick on Twitter.
What do you call me?
Obviously, you're a blue tick on Twitter, aren't you?
Barry Malone's got like 20,000 followers. So,
Oh, super. Small fry on Twitter as a beer review site. We got 500 people on Instagram, and we love everybody who pops in and says hello.
I'll just let Barry know. Barry, this is one of my local beers.
This
is
Export Stout.
Those Penix, it's 7.4%. Yeah, it's a bit special. It's rather lovely.
It's so smooth, so tasty. It's got really good coffee flavour. It's just nice, roasty, toasty Export Stout to finish off the night. And we've been going 3 hours, James. And we haven't even talked about Jimmy Fondue yet.
We haven't even talked about making beer mustard.
Beer mustard. We'll carry beer mustard over for the next time. If I can get an order out of Conway Brewery, and we'll talk. Will you promise to do it next time, James? Because it's been fun, it's been good, and now we've got the technology sorted.
We'll do it next time. Maybe we could do a beer mustard cook along.
Absolutely. Now we've proved the possibility of it. We can communicate from London to North Wales. The world is literally our lobster.
Barry Malone is in Washington DC.
Washington DC. There's from North Wales to London to America.
See you soon, Barry Malone.
Superb. He's jumping out. See you next time. Yeah, please follow us and click on next time. James, you have to come on again. You've done us such a solid by popping on. You've brought us a load of people to look in. You are absolute legend, sir. We've done good. We've done good. It's been a good night. It's always good catch. And you always, every time we meet up for a beer, it always lasts longer than we imagine it will.
Maybe it just feels that way.
Do you know the best thing? I don't have to phone you in half hour's time and make sure you've not fallen asleep on the night bus, because if you fall asleep now, you're still at home. Amount of times I've called you to make sure you don't fall asleep and end up on the other end of the Victoria line. So your wife will be happy now, because you haven't got home too late or ended up in Essex or something.
Yeah, my wife's always happy.
Yeah, but James, you're an absolute legend. We love you muchly. You're a superstar. Cheers, sir. I'm going to end the stream right now, and we'll see you again soon. If not on Instagram, hopefully maybe on YouTube. We can do a whole YouTube live thing. But you're an absolute legend. Thank you for the drinks. Thank you for introducing us to both Black Cloak and Wild Horses. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to look forward to looking towards the other beers during the week.
Yeah, Polly's and Conway next time.
Polly's and Conway next time. Well, if you're admitting to a next time, there'll definitely be a next time. We'll get Rasco involved as well. Sir, you're a legend. Cheers. Believe enough to lose control. I literally can't remember how to end the stream now because it's a long time since I've done it. So that's really awkward, isn't it? Literally have no idea how it works.
He's still got me, mate.
I'm going to drop you out and then just say goodbye and then click end. Listen, Rasco normally does this bit. I don't know how it works. I haven't done it for 6 months. We've been doing this 30 odd weeks now. Anyway, cheer bye.
Right, mate.
I said this last time. There was no thing that says end stream.
You're terrible, aren't you? How about if I do this?
If you leave, and then I'll click end.
Okay, I'll see you later, mate.
James, your superstar, thank you. No, I said this last time. I've no idea how to finish a stream, but thanks so much to James for rocking up tonight. Thanks for Rasco to knocking in the comments earlier. It's got to be that one, isn't it? Yes, I want to end the video. Good night.